Hello.
You have to push and not out.
Hi.
No. Uh, 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 we're starting with Carlo Alberto is here. Try your microphone, please.
Prova.
Yes, good. Maria, try your microphone, please.
Hola. Vale.
Okay. Use your microphone to say yes, so then we can. Deborah.
I'm here.
Okay, good. Carmen.
Present.
Okay, works. Anthony.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, you can move it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't speak to the microphone, it won't get recorded if they are recording, because I don't know, I don't see Cesar here, but so at some point they will come to record. So if you don't speak to the microphone, it won't get recorded. Okay, so Sarah, you need to push.
Present.
Okay, now it works. You don't need to speak on top of the microphone. You can speak here and still we can hear you, okay? So you don't need to go here. Juan?
Yes.
Okay, good. Something is not working. Joan Albert?
Yes.
Okay. Good, Joan Albert. Good distance, good. Ona?
Yes.
Vincenzo?
Da.
Gonzalo?
Yes.
Lydia?
Hola.
Okay, it works. That's very polite. Sofía?
Sí.
Jesús? No, if you don't push, it won't work.
Hola.
Okay, now. So now everybody's learning how to use this, eh? Ana?
Yes.
Vale. Jasmine?
Yes.
Okay. Jaime?
Yes.
Clara?
Yes.
Okay. Konstantin?
Yes.
It works very well. Francesca?
Here.
Okay.
Too loud. Sorry.
So you went too close to the microphone. And Valentina?
Yes.
Okay. Now, everybody's here, right? Yes? Now, as I mentioned earlier, 2 weeks ago, the whole idea is to go through different headings. We will start with an initial presentation from each one of you. We will start alphabetically, so Austria will be the first. You will have 2 minutes. I will control the minutes. You can do less than 2 minutes, it's fine. If you do more than 2 minutes, that's not fine. Then we will talk about the overall budget, and probably we will start with heading number 3 or 2, I don't know, 2 probably. Okay? Or maybe 1, and we do it in order, we'll see. So yes, we will do that. We will do presentations overall together with the new sources, and then heading 1, which is market, etc. Right? And then we probably will have a break, because you have 20 minutes for each heading, all right, to reach an agreement, and from there we will go on, right? Remember that before we start, this is your final simulation. This is an activity that will be evaluated, it will be graded, and it's together with your deliverables and your final position paper, it all it's the overall grade. Okay? If you want to speak, you just raise your hand. I will take notes and I'll put people in order, so everybody has a chance to speak. Don't kind of reply directly without asking your the voice to the chair, and that's basically it. Okay, so let's start with the 2-minute presentations, and I give the floor to Austria.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a representative of Austria, I'm here to explain our position regarding the European Union long-term budget for 2021 to 2027. Austria's main interest is in reducing the overall budget, while ensuring that every investment is justified and brings long-term value, because we believe it's essential to be responsible and efficient in how European Union funds are spent, and also to avoid unnecessary spending and limit the fiscal burden on net contributor states like me, Austria. Our main preference is to cut costs in areas that don't provide real and measurable results, focusing instead on areas that will make a real impact. This is important for us as we want to encourage a result-oriented distribution of resources, making sure that the funds are used where they can bring the most value to the European Union and its citizens. While we support the budget reduction, we are not seeking cuts across the board, because we want to prioritize fundings for projects that will help Europe grow in key areas like digital transformation, the ecological transition, and rural development. These are the sectors we believe will be crucial for a more sustainable and competitive EU. And we also want to make sure that the budget supports these areas without increasing financial pressure on member states. In conclusion, Austria's position is to focus on strategic and sustainable investments, reducing unnecessary spendings while guaranteeing the European Union budget aligns with clear priorities. We consider this approach will make the European Union stronger, more efficient, and more resilient in the long term. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, give the floor to Belgium.
Okay, so hello everyone. We are the Belgium delegation, and we will now explain our interest and our position. First of all, our first interest is to promote democratic values and strengthening compliance to rule of law inside European territory. This is because we believe, first and foremost, that the European Union is not merely an economical one, but also a political one. For that, we will defend Charles Michel's presidency's proposal for rule of law conditionality, and we would defend a slight increase in justice, citizens' equality, rights and values, promoting media freedom and plurality, which we believe to be key assets to every democracy. Our second interest is to make the European economy stronger, and we want to do that by fostering discovery, diminishing unemployment rates, and strengthening the overall internal European market. We have already talked about this. We will defend the already agreed in previous negotiations single market, innovation, and digital heading. and we would give importance to Erasmus Plus and ESF funds under the cohesion heading. Our last important interest is to make the European Union more greener and sustainable. We will, for that, we will support an increase in life subheading under the environmental heading, and we will stress importance of the space program, nuclear program, and modernizing Erasmus Plus for that finality. We may discuss also a green conditionality for CAP funds, and that's regarding our interest. Our position would be to be approachable, constructive, and flexible, and we are very open to making consensus, and our main goal is to be a mediator along all of these negotiations.
Thank you very much. Bulgaria, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to address an issue that is crucial not only for Bulgaria, but for the European Union as a whole. The need to reinforce cohesion, digital migration, and border control fund us in Southeastern European region. In this context, Bulgaria stands as a key player, not only because of its strategical geographical position, but also because of its role as a bridge between Europe and Asia, and its commitment to the shared values and objectives of the Union. To begin with, it's essential to understand that Bulgaria, as one of the most recent EU members, and with one of the smaller economies, faces structural challenges that limit its full capacity to contribute to the European project. Its GDP per capita remains well below the Union average at 55% of the EU media, illustrating an urgent need for investment in infrastructure, economy development, and social cohesion. However, I want to emphasize that these challenges are not unique to Bulgaria. They represent an opportunity for all of Europe. For instance, by strengthening economic cohesion in Bulgaria, we reduce regional disparities, contributing to a more balanced and dynamic single market. By enhancing all digital capacities, we align our country with the objectives of the EU Digital Decade, ensuring that the Southeastern Europe becomes a driver of innovation rather than a technological laggard. And by improving our capabilities to manage migration and secure the external borders, we are not only protecting Bulgaria, but also ensuring the stability and security of the entire Union. Moreover, Bulgaria is not alone in this path. We are founding strategic alliances with our neighbors, Romania, Greece, and Croatia, with whom we share common interests and similar challenges.
Thank you very much. Croatia, the floor is yours.
Dobry den, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Croatia's position is simple and it's increased across the board. On the first hand, we're facing already the consequences of Trump's election as the next US president. We saw this morning the recent attacks to Ukraine by Russia using ICBMs, so there's an escalation of conflict. We have also seen the Letta and Draghi reports, basically calling the EU to be more competitive. We have also seen floods in Central Europe and Southern Spain that have really shattered our beliefs in climate, in what climate change could do. It's worse than we imagined. So increases are needed across the board. Croatia's position is of increase of the entire budget by 98 billion to be explained as we go further along, mainly following Commission procedures and proposals on possible rebates later on. There's one red line for Croatia, however, and that is cohesion funds. Any proposal to lower or decrease cohesion funds will be vetoed by the Republic of Croatia. As for the rest of the lines, we're more than willing and able to negotiate. This proposal is, of course, flexible, and I think it can adapt to most of the needs of Europe right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Denmark, the floor is yours.
Hello to everybody. So, as Denmark has long committed itself to principle of sustainability, social cohesion, and economic resilience. So it's crucial for it to ensure that the budget not only aligns with its national priorities, but also effectively addresses the broader challenges facing the EU and also the EU citizens. So Denmark, as a member state with a tradition of fiscal prudence and strong commitment to environmental sustainability, will try to shape the negotiation to reflect its national priorities. The EU budget is a crucial tool for defining common priorities, but Denmark also needs to defend its specific needs. So as for the overall budget, the line is not to increase, but the discussion is open to relocate some funds and also talking about rebates. Denmark also aims to secure an increase in funding for research and innovation, particularly in the fields of green technologies and digitalization. And that's why also Denmark supports a fair approach to the distribution of funds, ensuring that less developed regions of the EU receive the necessary support to reduce disparities. After that, Denmark is also, as said, particularly focused on environmental sustainability. So we just want to promote significant investments in this way, just to talk about the climate change and how to mitigate that for the EU. About the migration and border management, Denmark has a strong point on it because of the national interests, and we will see that it's not particularly aligned with integration, but to border management. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Next is Finland? No?
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic.
Okay, hello. For the new budget of 2021-2027, our priorities are clear. First of all, we're committed to a greener future with investable in sustainable farming and green energy. We have one of the highest shares of organic agricultural production in the EU, and with the support of the CAP plan, the goal is to increase it. Second of all, we believe that Europe has many regional disparities. Lots of areas suffer from higher unemployment rates, lower GDP per capita, and underdeveloped infrastructures. But we think they have a massive potential. With the funds in cohesion, we can boost this region's growth, unlocking their potential to contribute to Europe's overall economic development. Our third aim is to become one of the European leaders in digital. Think about advancement in software, AI, cybersecurity. These are all fields in which Europe can be competitive globally. With more investments in programs like Digital Europe or Horizon Europe, we can foster innovation and make our presence in the global tech economy stronger. Last but not least, migration. We've experienced firsthand the importance of managing it well, especially with the Ukrainian we've welcomed since 2022. And that's why we're going to demand for more support to help integrate the refugees and strengthen Europe's borders.
Thank you very much. Next, Estonia, the floor is yours.
Esteemed colleagues, as a representative of Estonia, I stand before you today to articulate our nation's vision and priority regarding the upcoming discussion of European Union budget. Estonia is known for a pioneer digital landscape and commitment with innovation. Firmly believes that our budgetary decisions must reflect our involvement in challenges and opportunity with the Union. So we advocate for increased investments in digital innovation and technology. As a leader of e-governance, Estonia recognizes the transformative power and hubs to digital single market and urges fellow members states to prioritize funding to enhance our digital infrastructure. Furthermore, sustainability remains a forefront of our agenda. Estonia supports a significant allocation of resources towards the EU Green Deal, aimed to force projects to promote environmental sustainability and combat climate change. In the light of regional security concerns, we must also address the need to enhance budgetary support for security and defense as a nation's situation a sensitive geopolitical area. Estonia believes that a cohesive approach to security funding is indispensable for safeguarding our collective interests. Is it important for Estonia to maintain social order in Europe that respects human dignity, the fundamental rights, and the freedom of individual, democratic governance, and the rule of law? Estonia is ready to discuss the reforms, the EU institution, policies, budget that are necessary for the Union development and the effective functions of the European Union in the enlargement process. But without the line in the cohesion funds, we cannot decline. We urge to continue to support the cohesion policies that drives economic growth in all regions of the Union, ensuring that no member state is left behind in our journey towards prosperity.
Thank you very much. Next, Finland. The floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, my country is Finland. It's located in the northeastern of Europe with more than 5,000 million inhabitants and one of the biggest territorial areas in Europe. Shares border with Baltic and Nordic nations, but also with Russia, with 1,300 kilometers of border. This extensive border places Finland in a critical geopolitical position, making it a vital point of focus of Europe's collective security. My proposals emphasize maintaining the UA budget within responsible limits, avoiding unnecessary increases. It prioritizes key areas such as security, migration, ecological transition, digitalization, research and innovation, and reforming policies like CAP, focusing too in development in long-term growth with innovation and research. By focusing in these priorities, Europe can advance resilience, ensure sustainable growth, and create a future that balances economical, environmental, security, and social goals.
Thank you very much. Next, France. The floor is yours.
Thanks. Today we're here to discuss the budget for these next 6 years. This is a budget that should not act just merely as a financial tool, but one that should uphold the values that we say they are ours. As such, it should be strong enough to uphold through the economic volatility, the evolving global dynamics, and the climate change that it will live through. To achieve this goal, we propose that it should strike a careful balance between addressing our current needs and making long-term investments. For this reason, funds such as the Rural Development or the CAP act as cornerstones of European solidarity, and it is our priority to assert their importance, while on the other hand, pushing for the allocation of resources on projects that meet the demands of the 21st century. Projects such as those dedicated to fighting climate change, pushing digital transition around Europe, and enhancing the EU's defense and security cooperation between states. As for the funding and the role each state has in contributing to the budget, our delegation recognizes the importance of keeping the fiscal responsibility we have always kept while ensuring that the budget acts as a tool of development and cohesion between the member states. For this reason, we will be open to discussing new ways of receiving funds, but we will not be discussing exaggerated proposals as we have already done. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Germany, the floor is yours.
Okay, so we understand that these are difficult times for everybody, so this time we will try to be a little bit more comprehensive and flexible, and I think that the fluvial should try and understand the other countries which have been more affected. So our main points are investing in digitalization, cleaner energies to ensure that we can achieve carbon neutrality by 2050, and also the debt recovery fund. We will support Next Generation Europe and other programs that ensure solidarity and recovery, and we will try to be as flexible as possible while ensuring that the funds are destined to what we think that is okay and necessary.
Thank you very much. Hungary, the floor is yours.
Okay, so the big priorities of Hungary are clear. So we want to increase the cohesion funds first. It is the red line for us, like Croatia. And also our second priority is the CAP. Indeed, Hungary depends on cohesion funds. Hungary needs to increase also the budget of agriculture because Hungary needs to be modernized. Indeed, Hungary needs to modernize its agriculture, and it is thanks to this modernization that Hungary will become more competitive. So the cohesion funds and the CAP are investing for the long term. So you can say, okay, where do we find the money? So for us, it's from migration, because Hungary doesn't want to suffer from the quotas policy. And national issues are our priority. We cannot invest in money in order to welcome migrants. However, we can protect negotiation because we want flexibility. For instance, for the single market and migration, because it is on our common interest to negotiate. So in order to increase the budget of Cohesion Fund and CAP, we need to increase also the overall budget, because finding money in single market and migration is not enough for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ireland, the floor is yours.
Distinguished members of the Council, today we gather to discuss a matter of great importance for the future of our Union, the long-term European budget. For Ireland, this budget is not a simply financial tool, but an opportunity to strengthen cohesion, fight against climate change, address regional disparities, and ensure the European Union leadership on the global stage. In the current economic context, Ireland recognizes that the significant increase in the overall budget may not be feasible. However, a reduction would seriously endanger the Union's ability to take critical challenges such as climate change and humanitarian crisis. For this reason, Ireland strongly supports maintaining the budget, ensuring it is not only sufficient but only efficient. However, Ireland is considering some economical redistribution in some funds. In the context of these negotiations, Ireland has many priorities, and the first one is maintaining the European Agriculture Guarantee Fund and European Agriculture Fund for Rural Development, because given that they are supporting the common agricultural policy, which is vital for supporting agricultural, rural development and the economy of Ireland. Secondly, the cohesion funds to be able to focus on the infrastructure and environment project in less developed regions. Then the European Region Development Fund to reduce regional disparities. And last, the Green and Digital Transition and the Just Transition Fund, which is really necessary to drive innovation, the decarbonization economy, and secures Europe's competitiveness. And one of these top priorities is the green transition, and climate change is not just an environment threat. It is also a significant economic and social risk, especially for countries like Ireland, where agriculture and technology are key sectors. So Ireland proposes the creation of a dedicated green transition fund, financed with 5 and 8% of unused funds from other areas. So this proposal will...
Ireland, the time is up, so you
Okay,
finish
sorry.
quickly, please.
This proposal would benefit the entire Union. So thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you. Italy, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here today. Today we are going to discuss the budget, and we would like to emphasize that today we are not only designing on numbers, we are also planning, drawing, and drafting the futures of the European citizens and our national ones. Our goal is to ensure that this budget aligns with the Union's ambitions while also addressing the real needs of our citizens, with a particular focus on 3 main pillars: the green transition, the digital transition, and the economic and social recovery. We want to achieve this purpose with an overall increase of the budget encapsulated in arrays on the following headings: cohesion, natural sources, and environment, and migration and border management. We also want to address the ongoing rebates. We propose halving the current allocations and reinvesting the funds in programs addressing EU key challenges and regional projects to foster in-states collaboration. Our position aims to tackle all these struggles that we are now facing as a country, but we also would like to show light on the current challenges that we face as Italy. We have often approached the migration issue as, more specifically, non-government migration and illegal migration, as a matter that pits countries of origin and of transit on the one side and in countries against on the other one. The arrival of irregular migration in our coast is an European challenge and it needs an European answer. All the presents here have the obligation as part of the international community to not look to the other side and help with the creation of a solution that can stop these arrivals. We will present a solution later on when we challenge this heading. For this reason, we call today here our fellow members not to focus only on their national interests and also look beyond them and consider the needs and perspectives of other countries. We are confident that in the spirit of cooperation we can find a solution that will strengthen the Union for the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lithuania, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon to the Year Parliament. First of all, I want to say something that is we might be discussing numbers, but that's the thing that we might disagree upon. But I believe there's some things that we all agree upon, which is the stuff that goes further away from numbers. So, for example, our first priority for the 7 years is equality. I think we have to help underdeveloped countries develop better. There's a huge gap between East and West, North and South. This can be used increasing cohesion funds, but let's not forget, we're not talking about cohesion funds, we're talking about equality. Also, we want to focus on innovation. Let's not forget that we're lagging behind the big superpowers as United States and China. And just think that even though we're the leaders in this aspect, a benefit for us is also a benefit for the union because we're part of this union. And lastly, migration and border management. I believe that, well, the recent Russia-Ukrainian war has shown how important it is to maintain our border secure. And just think that even though the war might be far away from some countries, in the end of the day, we have learned, as like in the Second World War with the Iron Curtain, things can end up being closer than what you think. So an increase in border management is an increase in security for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next, it would be the Netherlands. The floor is yours.
Goeiedag. Good afternoon, everyone. So, as a representative of the Netherlands, I will explain to you the main interest and preference of the country. So, considering the overall budget, we would like to maintain it with some reallocation in specific areas, such as environment. As you know, in the future, the Netherlands may face several damage due to climate action as the rise of waters. So, we would like to raise budget from allocation to the Just Transition Fund, and also in the Program for Environment and Climate Action. We would like also to relocate some funds in single market areas, especially for areas such as Horizon Europe and European Regional Development Fund, because we believe that the economy in internal market is very important for us, because most of our imports and exports are done within the European Union. And we believe that through this negotiation later, some wants to increase the budget or some areas in the budget, and we would like to say that we want to put in place some conditionality to avoid any waste and any failed project that we faced earlier. So yeah, conditionality would be our main preferences, and we like also to really take a look to the rule of law, as talked earlier, because we believe that it's a fundamental right from the European Union. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Next, it would be Poland. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Today, I'm a representative of Poland, and we are here to discuss about the budget in the context of the multinational financial framework. My interests are based on the fact that Poland has a low level of wealth, and this will lead of a disparity in green transition, digital development, and management of migration flux. For this reason, we are here today to ask for an increase in environment, innovation and digital, and finally, migration. However, we will accept the current cohesion funds. More practically, we will ask for an increase through a relocation of funds in the same heading. So for this reason, we don't want to have an increase on overall budget. Or if it's not possible, we will mobilize some external sources such as digital levy and the carbon border adjustment mechanism. Our strategies are very pragmatic. We are aware of all the hate that we receive for the cohesion, so we don't want other other funds. However, we are very practical in asking for increasing for the green transition because we don't have the adequate technologies and infrastructures. Moreover, we would like to develop an electronic administration in order to increase transparency, have more access to information, and reduce bribery. This will represent the respect of the conditionality of the rule of law that is always asked. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Next is Portugal. The floor is yours.
Dear Council members, Portugal advocates for a budget increase that is not only sufficient but also more strategic and efficient. And therefore, we propose a budget expansion in priority areas such as the green transition, with more resources for ecosystem protection and energy efficiency, digitalization, focusing on supporting small and medium-sized enterprises to improve their competitiveness in the European market, social and territorial cohesion, reinforcing healthcare systems, education and youth employment programs to ensure opportunities for everyone, and furthermore, migration and border control are among Portugal's top priorities in negotiating its budget. We propose several measures for that. First, the creation of programs that promote both social and cultural inclusion for migrants. And second, we support an increase in the Asylum, Migration and Integration Fund to ensure the security and sustainability of migration policies. We are aware that the overall budget increase may be limited, which is why we propose redistributing funds from less priority areas, such as certain European strategic investment, to our priorities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Romania. The floor is yours.
Honorable member of the Council, Romania is speaking. Our first priority is cohesion funding. Many rural areas in Romania lack basic infrastructure such as road, healthcare, and digital connectivity. This limits economic growth and denies equal opportunities to our citizens. Funding through the Cohesion Fund and European Regional Development Fund is essential to address these inequalities and create jobs. Closing these gaps strengthens not just Romania, but the cohesion of the entire Union. Second, agriculture remains a cornerstone of Romania's economy, yet it struggles with low productivity and climate vulnerability. By leveraging the Common Agricultural Policy, especially the European Agricultural Fund for Rural Development, we can modernize farming, improve rural infrastructure, and adopt sustainable practices to secure food system and economic stability for future generations. Third, as a frontline state, Romania bears significant responsibility for securing EU's external borders. Managing immigration and border challenges puts enormous pressures on national resources. We call for increased funding through the Asylum, Migration and Integration Fund and the Integrated Border Management Fund to strengthen border infrastructure, security, and migrant integration systems. Lastly, even though it's not its priority, Romania must prepare for the future through innovation and digital transformation. Access to programs like Horizon Europe and Digital Europe will allow us to modernize industries, foster green innovation, and bridge the digital divide in unserved regions, ensuring a connected and competitive economy. This budget represents an opportunity to ensure no region or citizen is left behind. Romania's priorities are critical not just for us, but for a stronger and more cohesive European Union. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Next, it would be Slovakia. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Slovakia has clear and well-defined interests in the European Union budget. Firstly, we propose an overall increase of 11 million in the budget. This increase represents a small effort for the whole European Union, but its effect could generate a positive impact. Our principles in this negotiation are those that we believe can all support. Firstly, we seek to make the European Union more equitable so that we can grow together strongly and reap the benefits of our union. This, in our view, will be achieved with an increase in the cohesion, resilience and values funds, which are essential for countries like ours and other Central and Eastern countries European. These funds are vital for reducing regional inequalities. In addition, we believe that the area of natural resources remains highly relevant. These funds are important for us as a country with a large rural population and environmental challenges. We would also like to highlight the importance of migration and border management, especially since the outbreak of the war in Ukraine in 2021. As a country situated in a strategic position, we have been at the forefront of managing and the consequence of the conflict. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Next is Spain. The floor is yours.
Buenos noches, dear honorable members of the European Council. We are not going to accept a budget that consolidates cuts. It's something Pedro Sanchez, have said in 2020, and it holds true today. Spain approaches these budget negotiations with a clear and ambitious vision: a stronger, more cohesive, and digitally innovative European Union, capable of addressing our shared challenges, like migration, like the green transition, while fostering regional development and inclusivity. We believe that in order to achieve these goals, measured but sizable increases in the MFF budget is essential. Spain will make propositions in this, including an EU-wide digital service tax or reducing rebates. Beyond this, our priority is clear: securing targeted increases to the cohesion policy and the common agricultural funding, both of which are vital to addressing our goals and reducing disparities and ensuring economic resilience. A sizable decrease to either is a red line that we are not willing to cross in these negotiations. Nonetheless, we must remember that we are not enemies, but friends in our shared European house. Therefore, Spain looks forward to finding a compromise. We are ready to collaborate constructively, offering measurable concessions to align with the diverse interests that have already been offered in this council. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Finally, last but not least, Sweden, the floor is yours. Use your microphone, please.
So, good evening, dear member of the European Union. It is with pride and enthusiasm that the Kingdom of Sweden is ready to start those negotiations. We are looking to cooperate so that the Union lives stronger than yesterday. We are aware that every member state has his own goal and his own ambition, so as Sweden has. We are aiming to have a civil negotiation first, and without surprise, Sweden, as a net contributor of the Union, would like to reduce the budget or at least to maintain it, with reallocation to some sectors that would help both Sweden and, but mostly, the entire Union. We believe that a healthy Union must respect the European spirit, must be cost-efficient, must be safe, must be innovative so that it can compete on the world stage in terms of action and economy and in technology. And also, you have to take into account the participation of all of its members. Furthermore, even if we are open to negotiation and we know that increase or decrease will be done, we are standing strong on conditionality, relying on the rule of law and transparency. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, all the representative of the member states, for presenting your positions and your interest in these negotiations. As I mentioned earlier, we will start discussing, as it is obvious, the overall budget, because that's one the key step in order to develop the rest of the negotiations. As you are very much aware, the Commission has presented a proposal in which there is two sorts of budget, one oriented at the long-term budget, which is the classic budget that we've been discussing in previous negotiations, and this year, due to the COVID crisis, we've presented, thanks to your support and your willingness to develop a different strategy in order to get out of the crisis, we developed we created the Next Generation Funds. As you are very much aware, the discussions for the Next Generation funds were already very tough, and it is not time now to bring that back. It was hard, it was complicated, we did our best, and I think it's better that we don't put an eye on this. I suggest that we focus on the long-term budget, and to do that, we need to finalize the overall. So in the next 20 minutes, we will be discussing the overall budget. The proposal of the Commission that has been given to you member states and has been given to the Parliament is of 1.2 trillion. Well, as you can see in the back of the screen, or in the screen at the back, the Commission is open to hear your positions. We believe it's a very comprehensive budget, and I think everybody should be quite happy about it, but I understand that some of you, as you have mentioned in your presentations, are not 100% happy with the proposal. So we want to hear your proposals about the overall budget, and also if there is a way that we can rearrange the way of receiving our money, if we can rearrange where do we get our money from. As you know, 70% of our budget is financed by your contributions, and only 30% is financed by our own tax capacity. So if any of the member states have any ideas on new sources of financing, feel free to use these 20 minutes to present them. As I said, I will be taking your word, so I will try to make it in the biggest order possible, and please be patient because I will call your name before you are able to speak. Okay, so the 20 minutes are up. Here is the proposal. If anybody has anything to say, please feel free to do so. I see that Croatia wants to present the idea, Belgium also, so, and Spain. I will be doing 3 by 3, okay? I will take words by 3, because if I take more, then it's too long, so more or less 3. So this round, it would be Croatia, Belgium, and Spain, okay? Please, Croatia, the floor is yours.
Okay, first, carbon adjustment border mechanism. We've talked about the carbon tax. It's 3 billion. Now, rebates, I believe that we should take rebates, as we discussed before. 11% of the rebates for the MFF would amount to 5.8 billion. 5.8 billion to be used, we'll see later, ideally for migration, as we discussed in the last session. As for the new proposals, the first one is based on the Commission's proposal for an emissions trading system. It's a EU carbon market in which, to be able to emit carbon dioxide, like CO2, when you're producing, you need to pay a sort of fine. The ETS, emissions trading system, according to Commission numbers, that would give the MFF 21 billion, 21 billion. The other proposal of the Commission is the own resource on company profit, statistical based own resource on company profits, which is not attached on the companies, but it's more about the, if you have companies that are producing a lot, then you contribute more. This is a Commission proposal, not a Croatian proposal. And it would give the budget 48 billion, 48 billion. The last proposal for increase is contributions to be returned through Horizon Europe. So let's give money on lending to private companies, and once they return that lending to the EU, they are given back to the member states by rebate. Essentially, let's invest on our private sector. Once that lending is returned to the EU, then that money is given back to the member states. Contribution from all of us, 20 billion, 20 billion. That so we can invest on our companies, and that money will come back to us. So we'll put it on the budget. It's a 20 billion increase. with the condition that it comes back through the period of the lending. So essentially, it would be that. Yeah. If any questions or any stuff, we'll keep commenting. but
Please,
yes.
Belgium, the floor is yours.
Okay, so first of all, we would like to thank Croatia for not bringing up introducing an increase in national GNI contributions, because as the Commission already said, the overall budget was extraordinarily increased through the New Generation funds. So this is our call to be prudent when increasing. As many of us have said, we should be fiscally responsible and we should not call for like a really big increase since that increase has already happened. We really support the thing that he said about the rebates. We believe, however, that the people or the countries that receive rebates should be the ones deciding on the conditions and how the money that they are taking should be invested. They should have priorities deciding upon which heading and which subheadings this money should be allocated to. And we also really like the idea of investing in private sectors lending money and then using it furthermore. That's everything.
Thank you. I think Spain.
Thank you so much. I'll keep it short. I definitely agree with what Belgium has just said. I also think that rebate must be a mechanism to enlarge the budget playbook that we have, but I agree that in order to get this done, that we need to give some priority to the countries that we are taking these rebates from, in some sense. Building off what Croatia just said, I'd like to emphasize that also increasing this budget doesn't have to be unilaterally from one source, but can be a combination of sources. And I would like to emphasize that the digital service tax would be a great mechanism to do this. It breaks the frugal versus non-frugal line that we have in past negotiations. Austria, France, Hungary, Italy, Poland, Portugal, and Spain have already unilaterally implemented a digital service tax. And the Copenhagen Economic Institute estimated that a 3% European-wide digital service tax would bring $3 to $5 billion annually to our budget. I think that would alleviate a lot of the stress that we currently have on our budget negotiations, and I would like to propose this as an additional source of budget.
Okay, anybody else wants to say something? Nobody wants to say anything. I'm not clear what are we doing though. It's not very clear from me. We're increasing the budget. Belgium.
So yeah, we would like to ask how much of the rebates would the countries with rebates would like to give, and how much of its own resource that has been talked about are we actually willing to use in order to increase the budget. Thank you.
Netherlands, Poland, and I think Lithuania wants to say something. Poland, Portugal, sorry, want to say something, and Lithuania. So Netherlands, Portugal, and Lithuania.
Yes, thank you. So as you know, I am one of the country that is receiving one of the rebates. It's about 1.5 billion per year of the rebates. And I personally don't like the idea of taking money from the rebates, but I heard other ideas such as the digital tax and the proposition from the Commission from the private company that I am very interesting in, and I think that we could manage maybe to talk about that and to implement a reform or policy based on this.
Portugal.
So Portugal thinks that in a context of crisis, a budget reduction could result in a slower and more unequal recovery in Europe. Nonetheless, it's clear that budget adjustments may be inevitable, and for this reason, we propose two plans on one hand, prioritizing the reallocation of funds towards key areas, especially in those deemed essential to ensure a sustainable and equitable recovery. And on the other hand, Portugal suggests granting greater autonomy to adjust funds to its national needs, reducing bureaucratic requirements and facilitating a more efficient use of resources. Thank you.
Lithuania, yes.
Yeah, okay. So Lithuania here. My question is, first of all, I think there's like a wide consensus of the increase, but I believe there's some countries like Netherlands and Austria that don't want to increase the overall budget. My question to those countries is if there was something that we might that we can offer them to change their minds in this aspect. So some current kind of conditionality, maybe change what Croatia said in some aspects, even though I'm totally in favor of what Croatia proposed. So what are your thoughts?
Yes, Sweden and Finland and Austria.
I would like to propose a closed door meeting with Austria, Denmark, and Netherlands.
Can we finish the round of presentations first?
All right, just letting it know that.
Finland and then Austria.
Yeah, for Finland, new budget funding should become for traditional methods. I mean, I not agree to have new methods of funding the budget because I don't believe a lot in them. But I think that you can maybe use to try to recuperate the money from the next generation UA funds because they're not gonna be like so sustainable in the future if we have to pay a more expensive budget and also to recuperate the money from next generation funds.
Austria.
In my case, I agree with Belgium. I don't like the idea of the rebates, but I can agree if the Netherlands, sorry. But I can agree if allows the net contributors to put conditionality, and in response to Lithuania question, if there is no possibility to reduce the overall budget, I would like to maintain it, and also I wanted to relocate it to focus on key areas like I said, digital transformation, green transition, and rural development, for example, LIFE program. Thank you.
Italy, you wanted to say something, and Denmark. Anybody else? Third round? Hungary? Okay, so Italy, Denmark, and Hungary.
Yeah, so we would like to say that we agree with the Croatia proposal of the rebates. We accept that it's a complicated fact for the countries that are giving this money. The countries are Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, Austria, and Sweden from the previous allocations of the rebates. And we have a proposal of rebates that you can acknowledge and maybe consider in the reunion posterior. We proposed halving these rebates that are giving. One of them would be to a fund that will be negotiating the allocation between all countries, and the other one will be giving to these countries in particular, and these countries will act as a bank. So other countries can go there and present their proposals, and then the countries that have the rebates, Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, and Austria and Sweden, can decide if they are willing to give these allocations or not. So there will be like a lending of these funds. We think that this proposal can give more control to the distribution of funds in the end.
Okay, Denmark.
For me, the thing is that just before speaking about rebates, we need to discuss a bit about what the Commission proposals are, because there are a lot of money implied. So if we think about only rebates, we can maybe manage some billions, but if we can speak about all the proposals, we can arrange a lot more billions. So just for the moment, for me, just take away the rebates part and talk about the proposals, such as the tax, the carbon dioxide tax or the digital tax. And after talking about that, we can maybe access the rebates argument. Thanks.
It was Hungary. Please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, Hungary understands the position of the net contributor, and that we understand that you need your rebates. Hungary had the habits to be against, but in this configuration, we understand that rebate is important for you, and we can make a compromise about rebates because we understand your position of net contributors. And also, Hungary is able to follow your position, for instance, in single markets or in migration. Cohesion funds is our priority, but in some heading, we can do a compromise if you accept to just increase a bit the overall budget. Thank you.
Yes, Romania. Anybody else? Oh, yes, Czech Republic. Anybody else? Spain again.
Okay. Romania acknowledged the position of the frugal states that are the net contributors of the European budget. We understand that it's like a lot difficult to increase the budget thanks to like your already present contribution, and it's already very big. But what we want to say is that we push for new, like innovative ways of increasing funds, as digital divide and carbon border adjustment mechanism, which we found very interesting as an innovative way to increase these funds. And like it hasn't been considered yet. Maybe Finland is against that, but I think it would be a very good entrance. And also we are pro reallocation of funds, especially in some areas that we think we need them the most. And we think that we can only reach some agreements if we are able to negotiate and concede some things for others. Thanks.
Okay. Czech Republic totally agree with the proposal of Croatia and Hungary, which says basically that we can discuss the headings and the budget. We're going to reallocate in this later, but we need good overall budget in order to do that. And I just want to highlight to the countries who do not agree with increasing the budget that by the method Croatia suggested, we are not going to specifically increase members' taxations, like by carbon border adjustment mechanism or the digital tax are going to like big enterprises like Google or Amazon pay, not our citizens. And to Finland, just to please reconsider to, you know, left behind the traditional way.
Thank you, Czech Republic. I'd also like to speak directly to the rebate receiving countries. Like I said, or like any country that's asking for a budget increase has said, we understand that this is not the first thing you would push to increase the budget, but you also have to understand that from our side, we are trying to make a compromise work. Every offer so far has tried to make a compromise between other forms of budget and a rebate decrease, like a carbon tax or the digital service tax. Italy has made a very good proposal about reallocations of the rebate that is partially dictated by your interests. Therefore, given that we have a shared interest of making this budget work, I'd like to again ask to the rebate receiving countries if a reduction in the rebate to free up money is off the table, or what it would take for you to get a 50% reduction of rebates as Italy has proposed. Was 50 not what you proposed? Oh, sorry, 11. Sorry, I misunderstood. 11% rebate.
Croatia, Poland first, because I haven't heard from them. Croatia and Lithuania. I would like to remind the member states that we've spent 17 minutes already, and the Commission has no clue in how much, if there is an increase or if there is a decrease, or if we have to maintain it. And we have an informal meeting pending. when everybody has presented their position. So just keep that in mind. Yes, Poland, Croatia, and Lithuania.
As I said before, we prefer to relocate money because I understand it's complicated to have more considering the recovery funds. However, it's important to understand that not everybody of us, but some of us wants the relocation of funds, but there are different sectors in the headings. So I think it's important first to find an agreement on where to relocate money. And then if we can't reach this agreement, we can go ahead and use some external sources. Poland proposes the carbon tax on the heading about the natural resources and environment, because I think it will be productive to price more the imported products in order to prioritize the European production, for example, for the agriculture. And we want to mobilize the digital levy in the single market, innovation and digital, in order to be in the sector and invest that money in our project of the electronic administration. And finally, we want to mobilize the flexibility instrument about the migration, because the MFF was established in 2021 to 2020, but it takes into account all the unforeseen circumstances. And the war in Ukraine is one of that. So we hope that you are open to consider all the migrants that we have to have in our country. And thank you for your attention.
Just a very quick thing. Everyone has to present their position in order for the private meeting to be held, because I think that honestly, if we cannot talk rebates, like if we know how much the rebates are on the table, it's easier for us to negotiate versus us not knowing if the rebates are on or off the table or how much of the rebates is on or off the table. So mainly I just wanted to clarify that. Further proposals later. I mean, let's check the rebates, and otherwise we'll keep talking.
So if I understand correctly, we are basing the decision on the overall budget on what is discussed on the rebates. Is that what I'm trying to understand?
Not fully. Like the mechanisms will of course depend partially on whether rebates are on or off the table.
Okay. Denmark and France. I know Lithuania was supposed to speak first, yes.
Yeah, okay, so the main thing I've heard from countries that didn't want to increase the budget was the rebates. I believe they're mainly the frugals that don't want to increase it. So I believe Croatia proposed 11% of rebates, was it? Yeah, just think that 11% is 5.8 billion in 7 years, which, I mean, the carbon tax, it's 48 billion. So the carbon tax, how much was it? 21 billion, sorry. Carbon, yeah?
Carbon tax is 3, ETS, which is there, is 21.
Oh, sorry, 21, yeah. Well, still, it's way smaller than, so like the increase of the budget will come like solely from the rebates. So tell us a number of rebates, like of the rebate quantity that you guys feel like comfortable with, and for you to give us the increase of the overall budget.
Denmark, France, Italy, and maybe Romania. Depends on.
So just to move on, I would ask other member states, such as Lithuania just did. We want to consider the proposals from the Commission because, I mean, as already he said, there are on the table 21 billion from carbon tax, as Ben said, 3 to 5 billion from digital service tax. So those are like at least 24 billions on the table. I mean, okay, I would like to thank all the member states to ask us politely if we want to put rebates on the table. And I think Denmark is also open to talk about that. But I mean, for me, for Denmark, it's more important, firstly, to speak about the proposal from the Commission. Because if we want to take it personally and attack the frugals on the rebates, we can do it. But if we want to discuss the budget, we need to understand how much we want to increase it. Because if we want to only speak about rebates, it's just like not even 6 billions. Because after that we can discuss the percentage, and I don't think that the frugals want 11%, so it's going to be lower. So it's going to be lower than 5 billions. So I'll ask all the member states to raise the hand if they would agree on the taxes, such as carbon tax and digital service tax. So please raise the hands. So
Are you asking on both or either?
I mean, I want to take them as just like a pack.
Can you ask them individually, because both would be quite a
Okay,
cost on consumers
so the
as
carbon
well.
tax, for me the carbon tax, if we can. Okay, so the majority wants to increase at least 21 billions from the for the numbers from the Commission. So I think that we can just discuss.
We need to pay we need to return the Next Generation Fund. So if we raise 21 million out of this, probably you cannot use the 21 million explicitly on the long-term budget, because part of it goes to pay the. Okay. But just to make sure that the proposal of the Commission is 21 billion, but take into consideration that money needs to be returned before 2058.
Okay. So. I mean, I hope that in 2058, after all, that we could then negotiate about innovation and research.
It won't be my responsibility in 2058.
No,
sorry.
For me, just like, okay, if we agree on raise the budget, just say it. So I think the majority wants to raise the budget, at least from the carbon tax. So we can agree on that. And leave the rebates for the other headings, and we can talk about them later. Okay?
Are we still having the informal meeting?
Yeah, if we can do it maybe later during the break.
No, you want to. I mean, the thing is, my beloved member states, that we have a timing for the reaching discussions, for reaching agreements. Yeah. And in 25 minutes, we seem to have agreed, all of us, to increase the budget. Okay. Yes? With certain mechanisms. Exactly. Which we don't know yet which ones. At least carbon tax is a possibility. The digital, Spain is not very happy with it, if I'm not mistaken. Or which one was that you were not happy with?
No, I just said both taxes would be needed. Like if we implement both taxes at the same time, that would be quite a cost on consumers. Either one, I'm happy with, plus the rebates.
Okay, I understand now. Well, if you want to have I give you 1 minute, 90 seconds. Okay. Okay, time is up. Let me summarize all those 25 minutes in one sentence or two. We just, all member states agreed on increasing the budget, correct? Okay, that's good. Second thing is, do we know how much do we want to increase it or no?
I believe the problems were the rebates. So probably, like right now, only like the taxes that Vicento said, which amount to
21 billion.
Yeah, 21 billion. Yeah.
That's as much as you want to increase?
I can read out the numbers one by one. So the ETS is 21 billion, the carbon adjustment border mechanism is 3.17, and the digital levy is 4 billion. So in total, it would be 28.17 billion from all the taxes if we do all of them. There's an Excel on the chat. In the Excel, I'm putting all the numbers, like where they're coming from, sources, so you can check it out by yourselves as well.
I think Franz wanted to say something before. Still wanted to say something, or?
I think we'll pass for a second. Keep the discussion going.
Okay. Finland?
I'm gonna say again, if any of you would accept to place a part of this money to pay the next generation funds, or to start to pay it, because if we include new funds in the budget, we also can use it to start paying a part of the next generation funds too.
Yes,
Maybe
please.
not all the 21 billions we can use.
No, it's 27, no? 3 plus 5 plus 21.
28.17.
Okay,
Sorry.
so we can use a part to increase the budget, but the other part can go to start paying the next generation funds, because I want to remember that we have to pay it.
Now, Franz.
Thanks. I think that we're focusing a lot on taxes and collecting money from enterprises and citizens, but I think that a proposal that Croatia said that was very interesting was making investments on the private sector that we can recuperate and that we can get benefits from, that will help us pay those next generation funds. So I would like to ask for a quick vote of show of hands for each of the proposals that Croatia said, so we can have a solid ground on which to advance on the negotiation. So for the ATS taxation, which would give around 20 million? 21 billion. Who would agree? For the carbon tax, which would give 3 billion, who would agree? Okay. To make private investments that would yield future returns and that would, on the long run, be net investments, who would agree?
Maybe the Commission doesn't, because this doesn't seem very clear procedure to the Commission.
The Commission may be reminded of the European Innovation Council lines. 1 second, please. The EIC, the European Innovation Council, has already lending, low-interest lending for private sector.
Yes.
Through Accelerator, Pathfinder, and Transition. The idea would be
Yes.
allocating money on this, and then from the low-interest lending that comes back, the interest remains in the EU, the actual lending comes back to the member states through rebates later on.
But in a context of inflation, putting more money in the market is the solution?
According to Draghi and Letta, yes.
I don't have to believe everything they write, I guess. But
and just to finish, the digital taxation, who would agree? So there seems to be a majority agreement on ATS digital. Spain said that, for example, they would not support carbon if ATS was implemented.
Spain doesn't want to lose the elections, putting taxes to all its citizens. That's essentially what he's trying to say. Like, true, Pedro?
If I may, again, I think we can talk about these taxes, but I think it's also time now for the rebate receiving countries to say what conditionality is needed to let them move on the rebates, please.
I think Hungary wants to say something.
Yeah, I understand that it's maybe a good idea to think to new resources with enterprise, but you know it's a long-term resources. We can't, for instance, next year have the results of this, and because of this, we want to remain on GDP-based resources. Okay, Hungary has made a compromise. We understand the willing of rebates from frugal countries, but maybe GDP-based resources remains the fairest resources to finance oversized budgets.
So, what has been the outcome of the, if there has been an outcome of the rebate resolution? I like to remember the member states that the rebates could be discussed at any point. You are thinking that this is a good idea. This takes time from other discussions, so I guess you're fine with it. So who's going to be the spokesperson of the rebates, the country that receives rebates? Sweden?
Yep.
So Sweden, can you tell me the outcome of your informal discussion, if anything can transcend from the meeting?
Yeah, so as the Commission said, the rebate cannot be addressed in any other heading. I think we've reached pretty much an agreement on on increasing the budget, and the rebate can come later in the discussion, and they probably will. So we are aware of the proposition, we have calculated, we have consulted to each other, and we also are aware of the other proposition of increasing, so we would like to pass to another heading and maybe continue the discussion. Let's not forget that we have 4 hours to reach an agreement.
So, as for the 4 member states that receive the rebates, there is no need to put the rebates on the table in order to increase the overall budget. Is that correct? So the increase, if any, must come from the new sources or your GDP. I think Finland and Hungary want to use GDP, or GDI, sorry, and then some of you are happy with the taxes. Well, I might give you another 5 to 10 minutes to finalize this. We need to close the overall budget. Yes, Romania.
Can Romania just ask how much time do we take to discuss until now? Just to have an idea on like if we should move up to.
We
other
started
headings?
at 15:57. It's 16:33, so it's going 36 minutes discussing the overall budget and the new sources of income, if any. So I say that you have 5 minutes maximum in order to reach an agreement on the overall. Yes, Lithuania.
Okay, guys. So with all the things that we just voted.
Okay, guys, this is the Council of the European Union.
Sorry, members of the European Union. With the numbers that at the vote that we just took, it gives us, without counting rebates, a total of more or less 75 billion to redistribute in the budget for the next 7 years. I don't know if somebody has an objection to this.
Are you reading calculations from the sheets? Yeah. Okay, there's an issue because there's a sum over there, so yes, the number is a bit lower. Yes. So without the rebates, it's 48.17. With 11% of rebates, it would be 54. So no rebates, it's 48.17 billion.
Can you tell me the percentage of how much would that represent in terms of percentage of the budget?
1 second.
Que son 48. Is it like 6% or so? 4%, more or less? Yes, Belgium. while Croatia makes calculations?
Thank you. So we actually would like to say that that is probably too much, taking into account that many countries have said that, fiscal responsibility and such. So maybe we would like to have that amount if everyone agrees, because that money is going to be paid to Next Generation funds sooner or later, and we think that that is way too much money.
And let me mention, you cannot squeeze your citizens every 7 years. Or yes, you can, but probably you won't be sitting here in the next negotiation table. Sorry, Netherlands.
I have the calculation.
Wait, Croatia has a number.
Yes. So without the rebates, it would amount to 3.98%.
4%, yes.
Yes. And with the rebates, 4.46%.
So, yeah, not even 1%. Lithuania, you want to, no, sorry, Netherlands, yes.
Can you just repeat the number with, so with the rebates?
Okay, so I'll give you simple numbers.
Yeah.
With no rebates, 4%. With rebates, 4.5%. So it's 0.5% for the rebate.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think we should all move on to a next subject. And also, we all agree to increase the budget, but maybe 4 or 4.5% is a bit much. And as Belgium said, we cannot squeeze our citizen. I agree for a raise of taxation, but I don't think that much raise is necessary. So I believe that if we raise the budget to maybe 1.5 or 2%, it's more reasonable, especially for us as a citizen, and also considering the rebates. So we talked about it, and we would be maybe able to take from the rebates maybe 2 to 4 or 5%. We could discuss that. And also, if we take from the rebates, we would like to adopt conditionality, especially in certain areas to avoid fraud and a maximum of transparency. Thank you.
France, but I hope it's useful.
I hope so too. In order to move on, I think that it is clear that the proposal that Croatia gave us is a bit exaggerated. I think that we could find consensus on applying the ATS taxation, forgetting about the digital and the carbon one, and maybe revisiting the investment fund maybe later. I think that would give us ground also to not discuss or have no need to take from the rebate funds. So we would gain more time, and again, it would maintain the unity and stability of this council.
Okay,
Yes,
without the CABM, without the carbon border and the digital, it would be 41 billion, 3.4. Take into account that 20 billion is what we said that is going to be returned to the member states later on through rebates, is the money that we invest in interest lending, low interest lending, and then it comes back. So taking into account that it's coming back, in that case, the ETS would be the only mechanism applied, and it would be 2% of the budget. 1.73, so less than 2% of the budget.
Italy and then Hungary.
So giving this updated number, is everyone agreeing on establishing this number and going forward with the discussion? Can I see your hands up, please? Mine too. Great.
So if I understand correctly, we are increasing the budget, the 1.2 trillion by 2%. Is that correct?
By 3.4%, of which we already agree now that 20 billion are for the single market line in order for interest lending. That's what we are saying. Just to be clear. What we're saying is that we're going to put 20 billion on low interest lending that comes back to the EU, and that's part of those lines. So what we're really increasing, what we can actually touch, is 21 billion I don't
So
know if it,
you are increasing 3.4 or 3.5?
yes,
1.5
yes.
of
So,
those
to-
3.4 is
yeah.
actually returning investment. So it would be a net increase of 1.5.
1.7. Yes.
A net increase of what?
Like, lost funding, it would be 1.5% increase. There's another 1.5 increase that would be increased as funding as lends, low interest renting, that would come back to us. So overall it would be 3.4, but half of it would be returning after.
But returning during the 2027 framework or after the 2027 framework?
Throughout. It depends on the actual lending. So there's multiple lines that differ. What it means is essentially throughout the
Yes.
2027, these 20 billion are going to be implemented on using. So for example, I'll give you an example. If we right now give a 3-year like low interest lending, then it comes back with around 2027. If we give a long-term lending, then it comes long-term. But then those 20 billion are invested between now and 2027.
What I need to know, because we cannot budget with maybe there's 10 I recall it, loans asked, or maybe there's 25 loans asked. No, that's how you don't budget like this. You budget by telling me if I put 20 million today, by the end of 2027, I might get 3 billion or something. That's what I need to know. I don't want to know if there's 10 companies asking for a long term or there's 3 companies asking for. I don't need that. All I want is if I use this mechanism, the 2027, I will get something out of it. What is what I'm getting out of it? If not, if it's something that is for the following years, I don't see the point of how it increases your overall budget. You are increasing the overall budget of the next MFF that will come from this, no?
No, the increase is now. So between now and 2027, this money is given to the European Innovation Council to be given to private companies for low interest lending.
So you don't use it. You don't use those 21 billion that you're saying.
What do you mean? No, yes, you use it but
yes, not for any of the headings here.
No, it's only 21 billion that we would use for the headings.
Which comes from the taxes.
Yes, which comes from the ETS.
So we are increasing 42 billion, but we're only using 21 billion. And
yes.
We are increasing now, so we're doing the job for the next people that negotiate the following MFF from 27.
No, we are increasing 42. We will use 42, but 21 of those 42 will end up coming back to us. But
when?
That depends on the projects presented too.
Yes.
We can establish some long-term and short-term.
Yes, I can give you the calculations, the averages based on the current EIC returns.
I'm not convinced. Hungary and Italy and Finland.
Yeah, so we are all agreed to increase the budget, and the Hungary don't want to say, okay, yes, if we have totally agreed with the Commission, we need to have safe resources, as for instance GDP based, and I would like to know who wants to increase the GDP based, because we need to finance this overall budget and we don't have enough money to do 2% or 1.5%. So who wants to increase GDP based? Because is it in the interest of Eastern countries? So I don't understand.
So it will come from taxes, ¿vale? We all agree on that. The only thing is that the Commission is not convinced on the return of this way of long-term budgeting that is not included in the long-term period of our budget is what it's hard to understand. If maybe it's me, but I need to know how many loans you're gonna give that will exceed the 7 years of our budget, and how many won't and will give me money from that. That's essentially what I need to know. I don't need to know how much you're gonna use for the money that returns back, because that's not budgeting. That's because every year we need to take money from this long-term financial framework in order to pay salaries, etc., projects, etc., etc. So I cannot be hoping that this happens or this doesn't happen. Not in terms of budgeting. I know that shit can happen during every year, and maybe we have another pandemic, or there's a war in, I don't know, Ireland. Sorry for that. But, you know, that can be a surprise. But in budgets, in terms of accounting, I need to know how much comes in, how much comes out, because the budget needs to be up to zero. As much as I get, as much as I pay. Clear? That's why I'm not very happy with this particular proposal, because I don't know how much. As for now, I see it as an expense. I don't see any way of revenue from that in my books. Maybe you can explain better to me, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Italy, you wanted to say something, and the Netherlands wanted to say something.
So I think I speak for everyone that we are a little bit confused here, because we have heard a lot of numbers. So I just want to clarify, everyone is in favor with increasing the budget using the ETS system, that is 21 billion, and leaving aside the private investments. That would be a good way for everyone to increase it. Would everyone be okay with that? Yeah? Can you raise your hands, please, just to specify? Yeah? Okay. Okay, so I think everyone agrees with increasing the budget using the ETS. So that would be our final proposition. And leaving the private investments for the next framework, and maybe considering it in the future.
Wait, no, we can discuss that. I'll do the calculations of the framework. Once we get to the single market, innovation, all this thing, we can discuss it. Let's discuss the rest. And then once we come to the topic, we can talk about the investments and all this stuff.
So, if I understood correctly, we increase the budget by 21 billion, which represents what? 2%, 3%? 2%, 1.7. Okay, so we increase the budget in 1.7, which means 21 billion. See? Okay, yes, we have to go fast. We will return to the room at 17:15 sharp, and we will have to go a little bit faster on the other negotiations.
digital tax.
In true, I don't know, but I find this that not accepting, so not accepting. They don't say why.
Okay, so once we've had our short break, I hope you enjoy the tasty, yeah, exactly, the bits, and other snacks, thanks to our beloved European Union. So please be considerate when you discuss budgets, because money it's required to pay all these beautiful things. With that said, now we have a little bit more than an hour, or almost 2 hours, say an hour and a half or so, to discuss 4 headings. Okay? Taking into consideration my previous experience with you, member states of this group, that's actually a big challenge. So I would please ask for the member states to be focused on our final goal, which is reaching an overall agreement on all of the headings. Take into consideration that your budget now has increased in 21 billion, so the total is 1,222 billion. See? If I increase, 32, 1,232 billion. Okay? That's as much as we have increased. Now, with that in your head, let's go and discuss our first heading, which is the single market, innovation and digital. This includes the strategic investments of the European Union. It includes some of our market strategy, which is one of our most important elements, and other stuff such as the space program and the research and innovation programs. So now, or the Commission suggested a little bit less than 150 billion for this heading. You want to keep it like this? You want to rearrange the allocations within the heading, or do you want to add some of the 21 billion in this particular heading? Anybody who wants to take the floor? Because if not, we move on to the other headings. Yes, Netherlands and Spain and Croatia, I think it was, or Finland. Netherlands, Spain, Finland.
Thank you. Well, for my part, I believe that we should maintain the budget, but I'm open to hear proposition to maybe increase some part from 1 to 2%, especially for research and innovation, because I believe that Europe is the future of our union. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much. I think this is an area for compromise. Spain is happy, if I understand this, the wishes of also some other countries to maintain mostly this budget. I would just like to emphasize the connecting energy part. I think I've heard from basically every member state how important the green transition is. The Iberian Peninsula is in perfect position to become a green energy exporter in the coming decades, yet the energy connectedness between especially the Spanish and French border is in horrible condition. And I think if Spain and Portugal would both become green energy exporters in Europe, that would be a strategic interest of every EU member state. Think about the anxiety of not knowing where our energy comes from. If we have an EU member state who does this in a green way, I think would be beneficial to everyone. So a slight increase or a shift from transport by 1 billion to the energy is proposed by Spain. So 6.84 and 11.83. Right, from the 12.83 of transport down one down to energy.
I'm not agree with Move It. I think that all the headings inside European strategic investments are important, but we can increase it because we have increased the budget and we can put a bit of money there too. And I'm also with Netherlands to increase the research and innovation because I think that it's such as important to increase this part. And I want to ask all of you if there anyone that wants to reduce any of the parts of this heading, because if not, all gonna be agree with maintain or increase some parts. Denmark, please.
Another 3 rounds. Lithuania, Denmark, and Romania.
Okay, Lithuania is proposing a 6 billion increase that will follow percentage-wise. So this 6 billion will go mainly to research and innovation, strategic investment, single market, and also space, so that Finland is also happy with space. And also, we would like to hear of what other Baltic countries might think of this increase.
So I want to say that since we have 21 billions and more, we can put them in all the headings. So keep in mind that we can distribute them. And since that, I want to say that for Denmark, the most important things are innovation, research, and digitalization. So if we put some money here for Denmark, the 2 most important ones are Horizon Europe and InvestEU. So if we accept the proposal from Lithuania, maybe we can put maybe 3 billions for each of these projects. That's it.
Okay, sorry. For what concerns Romania, Romania says that we understand that some countries might think of innovation and digital and single market as priority, but for us it's not really a priority. What we wanted to say still is that we might consider to increase it only with some conditionalities, and in this case it would be a geographical conditionality. So basically we would think about approving an increase of it if, and only if, a 5% shift. There is a 5% reservation of the Horizon Europe funds. So basically it's just 4.7 billion for innovation that caters and interests Eastern and Southern European countries. As we all know that these countries are the most, the countries where there is the least expenses over innovation. And also, we wanted to say that we might consider a reallocation from common agricultural policy of 1/2% only if this reallocation is it goes to digital agriculture initiatives, which we really care about, and it's a main priority for us, the point of agriculture. Thanks.
I thought we were discussing single market innovation and digital, so I don't know why we talk about the CAP or the...
I know, it's just so they can already know that I might be available to compromise, to shift from that to this.
Okay.
To, if they want that, then I need a specific area.
Okay. Hungary, Sweden, no? And Estonia, because you've been asked by Lithuania. Okay.
Okay.
Hungary.
Hungary totally agree with Romania because cohesion funds and CAP remains our priority. And we understand that research and innovation is for the long term. And Hungary can agree with the rest of the members if they want to increase research and innovation. But we must keep in mind that single markets for Eastern European countries that are the poorest, single markets is more an asset for advanced economy. So we must keep in mind our priority. And maybe Hungary will want to decrease single markets.
Sorry. Expanding into new markets can be costly for a company, even just moving from member states to another. Estonian business would benefit from practical business expansion to help them access where and how to expand into the single market based on their area of activity. In building new interconnection, we need to work together, especially with Baltic states, Poland, and Nordic countries, to ensure that our interests are taken into account. One of Estonia's European Union's policy priority is improving connectivity in Estonia and linking Estonia with the rest of the world would facilitate by common EU rules, according to which the planning and construction of data continues to start. And we are planning to also increase the budget from the other parts of the single market, innovation, and digital if we have the chance to. So we agree with Lithuania and our partnerships and member states.
To that side, and I will do Denmark, Croatia, and Belgium, and then I will move to this side, okay?
I will be very quick. I just want to remember every member state that by increasing innovation and digitalization, all the countries will benefit from that, because even if a country is now underdeveloped in those areas, by funding special projects about innovation and digitalization, then those countries could reach sooner the better position for Europe by being more digitalized, and so by finding new ways to increase the other areas of their nations, their countries. So even single market could benefit from that, because by innovation and new technologies, we can improve the single market by, new products. That's it. Just remember that by innovating and digitalization, we can do better.
Okay, going back to the proposal from before of giving money, putting money that will be returned, all this stuff, I have calculations that are a bit complicated to explain. I'll give you all of the calculations are on the Excel sheet if you want to check them out, and I can explain them a bit later. But in general, with an interest rate of 3.05, which is an average, the interest rate is negotiated between the EIC and the recipient based on the year. So it's an interest rate that we take as a baseline. Then we would invest 20 billion on the research and innovation Horizon Europe line, so 20 plus billion. By 2027, we would receive back 0.5, so like 0.5 billion. Then this is calculated based on a return rate. After the third year, you start getting the returns. On the three lines, some of the lines are returned in 5 years, some of the lines are returned in 7 years. Just to recap, we invest 20 billion now. We receive by 2027 0.5 billion back. Whatever the member states contributed, get it back. And then from here until the next MFF, we start receiving all of the loans back, and they're given back to the member states in rebates. So in the balance sheet, it looks like we have 19.5 billion invested, and through the next MFF, you get it back, plus 3.05% interest.
I'm not interested in what goes on the next MFF, and I think we already reached an agreement and we need to finalize. Thanks for the calculations, but I think we need to be efficient considering what we've gone through in the past 2 hours and a half. So let's focus on what's on the table and continue from there. Belgium, I think you were going to say the same. I hope you were going to say the same.
Yes, I was going to start saying the same. I was going to thank all the tangible solutions that were coming at first. I was going to say that difficult to explain or not clear proposals kind of push us farther from making an agreement. We would like to stress that the budget has been increased 21 billion, which is a lot of money, enough to increase many different headings and subheadings. I would like to stress also that the geographical conditionality doesn't seem too clear, the same as the proposal that Croatia said, so we are currently not going to discuss it. And we would like to take back and talk about Lithuania's proposal about actually putting 6 million inside this heading and reallocating between research and innovation, which seems to be the most popular subheading amongst them all, and also a strategic investment and space program. Thank you.
Good, I will go to the other side of the table. I think Italy wanted to talk, the Netherlands, and, well, Lithuania and Sweden, okay, the four of you. So Italy, Netherlands, Lithuania, and Sweden. Portugal, you have to wait for the next round.
Granted the opportunity that has been given by these 21 billions, we believe that spending 6 on this heading is not the right choice. We proposed 3, spending 3 on this heading, and we will distribute it in the following way. We'll spend 1 in research and innovation, 0.5 in the European strategic investments, recognizing that these two have already funds from the Next Generation Fund, so there are more money going through. And then 1.5 in the single market that doesn't get any fundings from the Next Generation, and we think that it could work with a nice boost for all the countries to have a stronger connections with each other and market improvements.
Well, I might actually agree with you, Italy, on this. I think that 6 million is a bit much, but I would agree on, as you said, maybe 3 billion, sorry. I agree to spend maybe more in innovation, so maybe 1.5 on this, and also in strategic investment and single market, especially for the anti-fraud program, because as we talked before, I think that if we're augmenting this, raising this budget a bit more, we will reduce fraud in the future. So I don't know if you will agree on this, but 3, and we can maybe talk about 4 billion for this specific heading, we might maybe reach an agreement.
We've been talking about this for 15 minutes now. So I suggest that the next words or the next participations or the next member states that take the floor are hoping to move towards a compromise.
Yeah, okay, so Lithuania's proposal of increasing 6 billion percentage-wise, I believe will make everybody who has spoken about this heading happy, in the sense that Denmark gets the better end of this money into research and innovation and strategic investments. Romania also will see less into single market, and also Italy wanted to put money into single market, while Netherlands wanted to put it into anti-fraud program. So what I think will be better would be invested in the single market, but into the EU anti-fraud program. And instead of the 6 billion that was initially proposed, I'll say that meeting in a halfway point of 4.5 billion to be divided percentage-wise. If I can see a show of hands who is happy with this proposal. Can you repeat the proposal? 4.5 billion. In absolute terms, 4.5 billion means. Yeah, research, how much goes to strategic investment, how much goes to single market? Okay, so it's 94, 33. 7 and 15. If we account for the percentage, it's divided by this. If somebody in the meanwhile wants to speak and give his opinion, dude, somebody eliminated? Yeah, so it was 4.5 billion increase percentage-wise, which is 94, 33, 6.5, let's say, and 15. which is la suma. Okay, who's moving the? Can somebody please stop moving the Excel, please? I don't know. Okay, thank you. Why doesn't it get me? Let's way not that one.
The 63% goes to research and innovation. 63% out of 4.5, how much?
I know that's what I'm trying to do.
2.8. 2.8
2.8
billion to research and innovation.
Yeah. ¿Tú, alguien está moviendo el Excel? Yes.
3 point what? 3.8. 3.8 plus 1 million, 4.8, and then to single market, 0.7. And no money to space, Finland.
No, it's percentage-wise between all the subheadings, I believe. Or are you okay with? Are you okay with maintaining space?
I'm okay
Second.
to maintain it.
You see, he's happy to maintain
So we
space.
can skip
so
space.
it's just as you said, and we can move to the.
All of that is increasing, maybe I can increase just a bit.
700.
I mean, increase all except the space.
400.
We can.
50,000 is for you in the space, and then the other 350 are in single market.
Yeah.
So 3.8, 1, 350,000 by 300, 350,000, 450,000. You said 2.8 in research and innovation. 1 in strategic, and 3.8.
So it's just the 4.5 billion? Okay.
450 for space. Million, not
Yeah,
350 or 250, sorry, to single market. 1 billion to European strategic investments, 2.8 to research and innovation. That's Lithuania's proposal. Next time, I won't be doing the maths, okay?
Yeah, sorry, it's somebody was moving.
Romania, you look very, very worried about something.
The space, I think it's just intolerable, the fact that you want to increase the space, because we already spent like 15 billions on the space and much less on the single market, which I think for all of us is much more important than the space. So like, I see no point in increasing the space. Like, if you want to add, which I'm not agreeing on the proposal of Lithuania, but like, if you all agree, then that quantity that we want to increase in the space, I want to move it somewhere else, like the single market or research and innovation. I don't agree with the space.
Finland for allegations, and then France.
I was not agree accepting new funds. I am agree with increase all the others, but my increase is just significantly, so please, let me have it. It's also important.
About 15 billions are way more than enough.
And
I would not tolerate bilateral dialogues. So, France, the floor is yours.
Thanks. I think it's important to keep in mind that things like the space program or Euratom or the ITER have a physical component to them that increases the budget. So in order to make simulations, experiments, and build new spacecrafts or whatever, they need a bigger investment that will later be returned to the civil society by ways of innovations, ways of bettering systems that we already have in place. And in that sense, I would more than agree with Lithuania's proposition, as long as some part of the research and innovation investments would go into Euratom and ITER, both of which are crucial to the future of European energy. I would like to remind that Sweden, the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, Poland, Slovakia, Finland, and us are building new reactors and have in mind building more even in the future. So whatever steps are taken to make them better and produce more energy are fundamental to us.
And greener and safer. Do not forget that.
Yes.
We're reaching minute 25 or 26 of this heading. Denmark and Italy, we have a proposal on the table, by the way.
I want to speed up the process because we are losing too much time. So if we want to increase also single market, we can take 300 million from the proposition of Lithuania. We can take 300 million from the research and innovation. So putting 2.5 in research and innovation and put the remaining 300 million to single market. So doing that, exactly. And by that, we have the compromise on increasing the single market. So I want to ask all the member states if this is the proposals that we are talking about, if we can agree on that, and by reaching the end, so we can move on the other heading, because...
The proposal is the following: 6 billion increase, sorry, 4.5 billion increase from, because Lithuania has accepted the small reduction of his earlier proposal, and then 2.5 billion, they go to research and innovation. If they go to Euratom or not, that's something that we can discuss. Then 1 billion goes to strategic investments. Then 550 million go to single market, and 450 million go to the space program. That's basically the proposal. Who is in favor of this proposal? Bulgaria is not in favor, and they wanted to say something. What did you want to say, Bulgaria? I mean, it seems a pretty obvious agreement, but I want to hear the people that are not agreeing with it.
Yeah, so for us, like 4.5 billion is too much. I mean, it's like the 25% of the total that we have. So first of all, we were talking about Finland and the space program. For us, it's like too much, as Romania said. We believe that 15 billion is more than enough. And Lithuania said that 4.5 billion to increase. Okay, I mean, for us it has to be less, maybe like 3 billion. We need some of this billion in European strategic investments, especially in connecting European facility, energy, digital and transport. I mean, just 1 billion out of these 4.5 that you said, for us is not enough. We need more there, because for us it's more important European strategic investments than the research and innovation, because I mean, we don't have the same privileged position that you all have, countries like Lithuania, France, Denmark, so it's something to be said.
From Italy, we would like to ask the countries that are against this proposition, what would be the conditionality that you would agree to this proposal, and, for example, in other headings to accept other agreements? For example, I don't know if you would like more funding on cohesion or something like that.
Romania already said that earlier, talking about natural resources, if I'm not mistaken, right?
And also migration and in general cohesion funds.
Okay. And Bulgaria, can you answer Italy's question?
Yeah,
please?
basically what she said, for us it's so important, migration and cohesion funds. So, I mean, she said also that the geographical conditionality for us it would be nice for countries like Bulgaria and Romania, but I mean, Belgium didn't like that.
Well, the thing is, it's not that Belgium didn't like it. What Belgium was saying is, who places the who limits? Is it Hungary Eastern, or is Poland Eastern, or Germany also Eastern?
It's easy. It's the Black Sea and the Rhodope Mountains. I mean, this area is...
So you, essentially.
No, and Romania also. I mean, Romania and Bulgaria, we are so similar countries, so...
Yeah, I totally agree. But the thing is, when you if you propose a geographical, you can just mention the name, the countries that would be included in this. And it's not clear. And
Greece. Also Greece, but he's not here.
Ah, okay. I would just that's what Belgium said. Belgium didn't say it's not in favor of this. It's not a clear proposal. Italy, you've been answered your question, so
Yeah, so our proposal would be to follow with the next heading and be more sensible to your proposals following up, and so we can continue the discussion.
Yes?
Just one thing. I mean, we are using the 25% of the total here. I mean, we believe that it's too much.
Yeah, but most of the people here, most of the member states have agreed on this, and they are telling you, or they are compromising, not just saying, that they will be more sensitive to your proposals in future headings.
Yeah, but we are following with this the discussion. It's just a mere trimmed to follow up, and then we can continue to more.
So, do we finalize the proposal on this heading regarding the 4.5 increase out of the 21 billion, which that would make 16.5 billion left. As Bulgaria was saying, 75% of your increase still able to be managed. So now, heading 1 ends like this, right?
Before ending the heading, I would ask for the subheading of the atomic research to be voted.
Yeah. So there's, well, let me rearrange numbers and now we discuss this. Okay, so we would say the single market innovation digital heading, 1 second please, would be to 154, right? If I'm not mistaken, the total, 154 billion, right? We will increase to 96.32 billion in research and innovation. Is that correct? Then it will be 33.98 billion in strategic investments. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Now we have 7.1 billion in single market, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And it is 15 million point 600 billion. No, 15.6 billion in space. Is that correct? We all agree on this? Okay, great. Now, France is asking, I think in a very polite way, if out of the 96.32, we can see a small increase in the Euratom budget. Is that correct?
Yes, from the 2 billion that we received.
From the 2.5 that we received.
2.5.
What would be a good number for you?
Putting 0.6 towards the Euratom and 0.4 towards the ITER.
So 1 billion
1 billion
out of the 2.5
yes.
into Euratom and ITER.
Yes.
That's the proposal. Be clear with the proposal, please. Don't say, well, I would like Euratom to be increased. No, go for it, okay? Because if not, we don't finish and I have to do numbers and maths all the time. So this is the proposal. Everybody agrees on this proposal?
Could we show hands, please? Those in favor?
It's not as unanimous as before.
Okay, those against?
Those against? Ooh.
I guess it doesn't pass.
See? Everybody agrees on this?
If we agree on that, is that there's no parts go to Euratom and EAR?
There's 1 billion going to the two of them.
Are we agreeing that, so?
Well, it's 1 million splitted, so half and half.
more or less.
Yes. So could we vote them separately?
So
Maybe that changes
the
something.
Horizon Europe amount at the end becomes 87.6.
Yeah.
See? See? Finish? What, Denmark? What's your problem?
No, I mean, the minority of the people is for his proposal. So,
No, I think it was tight, no?
It's for that I said if we are doing or not, because I think that there are more people that says that not to put this
Okay,
amount of money
can you
there.
please raise your hands? Not like this, but raise your hands. Who is in favor of France's proposal? 8, no, 9. Who's against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So nobody is agreeing with you. It's okay? But, so how we distribute this 2.5? Evenly? Percentage-wise? See? Proportionate? Okay. Good. So, it stays as I mentioned. Yes, Croatia.
Maybe for you, the calculations are, we have an Excel sheet that we're sharing. If you want the calculations there,
It's okay. I don't want the calculations. No. It's too much for me.
then you do the maths yourself.
I do the maths myself. Now, we have 16.5 billion to redistribute and 3 more headings and only 1 hour and 10 minutes. So we need to be more sensitive, time sensitive, if you ask me, in order to continue. Now, this is going to be also a very long and complicated discussion, so can we please focus on the cohesion, resilience, and values? This is something very important for the Commission. As you can imagine, there's no need for me to say that because it represents probably the #1 heading of this budget, which implies that it is important for all of us, okay? Since it is important for all of us, can we have a mature and objective-oriented negotiation, okay? So the proposal of the Commission is 426.69 billion, distribute, as you can see here, with most of the money going to regional and development funds, as you know, and part of the recovery and resilience, which is based on the next generation funds, we need to put it somewhere. This is a very small amount, so it's not a big deal, but please don't touch it because we have to manage 800 billion. So don't try to squeeze 400,000 million from this, if you understand. And then investing in people, social and cohesion values, it is important for us, as you can imagine, because it's also an important part. See, clear? Italy.
So for starters, regarding that we have left 16.5 billion from the initial increase, we propose splitting 7 billion in cohesion, 7 billion in natural resources, and then 2.5 in migration for starters. So we have an orientation of what increase we can spend in this heading and making it clear from the beginning. This is a proposal. If you have any other
7.5, 7.5, no, or 7, 7, and 2.5. Yes. 7 in cohesion, 7 in natural resources, 2.5 in migration and border management. Nobody agrees. France agrees. Well, yeah, but not everybody else. I see people very upset in Bulgaria and all those parts of the world, and Croatia. So you mentioned that you wanted to give, you understand that Bulgaria and Romania are giving up some stuff, so we need to listen to them at least. At least I want to be focused on your words. Croatia.
I believe 7 for cohesion is good. I don't think 7 for like the rest is well redistributed. I do believe that there's way more challenges in migration that I think 2.5 is not going to be enough. So I agree on the 7 for cohesion, and when it comes to cohesion, 100%, I think 7 is a good number. When it comes to the rest, I think we should discuss a bit more. I think migration specifically is something that is a pressing issue for most of the countries.
Bulgaria as an affected.
Well, you said that you will have some consideration to us, so now it's the time to do it. We believe that we need at least like 5 or 6 billion to the migration heading. 2.5, it's almost nothing for us. So we need to talk about 5-6 billion on the immigration fund.
Spain and Sweden. You cannot talk at the same time because you're sharing microphones, so please.
We're sensitive to your remarks, Bulgaria. I think we can move forward with 7 billion for this heading. Yes. A similar proposal I have brought forward in past negotiations is that we split this 7 million increase between the ERDF, which you see as the first subheading, and the European Social Fund Plus. It had near unanimous support in past negotiations. Are there any strong oppositions now?
So Spain is suggesting to agree on the 7 billion. Then the other 12, you guys deal with it. Or the other 11 and a half, you guys deal with it in a different way. Well, this year, step by step. Spain has said 7 billion, and Bulgaria has said, and Croatia have said that 7 billion in cohesion funds is okay. Is it okay for everybody? See? Finland, yes.
I just want to ask, where you are saying migration, you are also accepting the border management? Okay.
No.
Yeah.
It's 7 billion for research, for cohesion funds. So out of 16.5, I go -7. And now we have 9.5 left to play with. But first,
could we do a show of hands?
I don't think there's a need for this. Everybody agrees on this, right? And now what you guys don't agree, probably, which is understandable, is how we distribute the 7 billion. Because most of you would put all the money on Erasmus, I understand. But some of you won't. So can we say that we only have 7 billion to play with this in this heading? Everybody agrees on that? Yes? Belgium? Okay. That's my point of support. Now, 7 billion. How do you want to distribute 7 billion around this heading? Spain has proposed something. Can you repeat the proposal? Because we have agreed on one thing, then let's agree on thing number 2.
Fantastic. Let's agree on this another thing. It was, again, 3.5 million to the regional, the ERDF, and 3.5 million to the ESF Plus, which is the first heading of the third subgroup. Is everyone? Yeah, plus, right. 3.5, a 50-50 split.
Spain is saying 3.5 in the first subheading of the first allocation and 3.5 on the first subheading of the third allocation. See? Understand? Okay. Belgium is not very happy. Bulgaria is not very happy. Croatia, Austria, I didn't see you. But if you do like this, I don't. So Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, and then we go with Croatia and Czech Republic. So these 5 countries on this side will reply to the proposal coming from Spain. Clear? So just when you finish, the following one, okay? So please, Austria, what are you going to say?
I think we should redistribute this 7 billion in the following line. 4 billion on regional development and cohesion, and I propose 2 billion to European Regional Development Fund because it's one of my key areas. Then 1.3 billion on recover and resilience, especially in recover and the resilience facility, and finally 1.7 billion in investing in people, social cohesion and values.
We don't mention recovery and resilience. We said that we
Okay.
don't touch those
Okay.
because there's
So-
725 billion to deal with. So
Okay,
it's
so 3 billion in investing in people, social cohesion and values, especially 1.5 billion European Social Fund and 1.5 billion in Erasmus+.
Thank you. So we thank everyone's efforts to try to say precise numbers in all subheadings. The main reason that we don't really like Spain's proposal is because we think that it gives money only to like the very big funds, and Belgium is very concerned that in the climate of political and media polarization in Europe, there's not enough media diversity and plurality. So we would actually like to see even a small increase in like the last subheading inside investing in people, social cohesion and values, which is justice, citizens, equality, rights and values for media and plurality, which is under that fund, as I have read. And we would like to also tell everyone that we are very, very strong supporters of the rule of law conditionality, which seems to be also being debated in this heading. Thank you.
Well, we said that we're going to put 3.5 on the first heading, on regional development and cohesion. So we believe that we need some money on the cohesion fund and also a little bit of help on the support of the Turkish Cypriot community. Basically because, Bulgaria is an Orthodox country. We believe that Cyprus is Greek. If Greece was here, it would be nice, but it's not the case. And we also want to have Turkey happy because it's our neighbors and we need them to be happy for the immigration and other things that come together. I'm so sorry, but that's it.
the 3.5 or the 4, whatever we decide, to put some money on the support to the Turkish Cypriot community. I understand your point. Croatia.
I believe what's a bit easier is, instead of debating your DF cohesion, support to Turkish Cypriot community, justice, citizens, whatever, let's do proportional, and let's speak how much goes into regional development and cohesion, and how much goes in investing in people, social cohesion, and values. In this case, we have 2 proposals so far. Spain, if we do it proportional, it's 3.5, 3.5. Austria's proposal is 4 in regional development and 3 in investing in people, etc. And then distributed proportional. Yes.
Yeah, but if we do it proportionate, it's not the same amount as she suggested, but just in case.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. The bigger split is like that, then of course it's different, because I'm saying mainly because of the other 2 proposals. The first one of Belgium of increasing the last line, and the one of, yes, maybe doing it all proportional could be a way of just speaking smaller numbers, let's say.
And making everybody happy. Czech Republic.
Yes. I mainly agree with the Spain proposal, but I would also prioritize cohesion fund in the first heading, regional development and cohesion. So I will split the 7 billion in 4 billions into regional development and cohesion, in which
She said 3.5.
Oh,
4
sorry.
is best. 4 is Austria.
Sorry. Okay, so with a bit of an edit. 4 billions goes into the first heading, in which 2 billions goes into European Regional Development Fund, and the others choose in Cohesion Fund. And then the rest, 3 billions, goes in the last heading, specifically into European Social Fund.
Yes.
And I think it could meet basically most of us' interests. So
Over here, Spain, you've been mentioned a couple of times.
Yes, I understand all your interests. Can I just quickly see who would prefer a 50-50 split? Who would, show of hands? Who would prefer a 60-40 or 60-40, 65-35 with a skew towards regional development fund? Who would prefer that? I'm happy to move forward with that.
Yes, Denmark.
I'm proposing that, as Croatia said, if we can proportionally divide the amount of money, maybe it's better because every country has national interests. So every subheading will be discussed, and then we can finish.
So you're talking about the future, not now only.
I'm talking about, okay, we agreed on 4 billions on regional development and cohesion, 3 billion and 3 billions investing in people, and then those 4 and those 3 are equally distributed, proportionally distributed in the subheadings, and without doing the maths, because we don't need it, and we can move forward, because if not, every country has interest in some subheading, and then we will never reach an agreement.
No, every country puts the effort on where they believe they need to put their effort, and it's not the same putting money to Erasmus than putting money to Creative Europe.
Yeah.
So if somebody has I understand your point, For the sake of reaching an agreement, it's better what you're saying, but we need to give room to those member states that have certain national
but
priorities.
also there is another thing. With the actual proposal given by the Commission, it's already distributed in a way that has a sense. So by raising all the subheadings, it has a sense because it's already has a sense. So I mean, okay, doing our interests, but for the sake of the community, also we can move on.
Okay.
That's what I say.
France, Hungary.
I think that
And Finland.
instead of dividing the new apportations equally, we can respect the percentages that they are distributed now. So maintaining this, we can distribute the 3 million. Maybe I haven't calculated, but if the first funding is 80%, then 80% of those 3 million would go there. If the second one is 10%, then 10% would go there. I think it's a good way of respecting what has already been proposed and not wasting time discussing.
Let me remind the representative of France that we had to spend time discussing Euratom and ITER in previous hearings. So
they were crucial. I
okay.
don't think that putting more money
Now,
into Erasmus is...
So Euratom is crucial, Erasmus for Austria is crucial, so please respect the position of all the member states. Hungary.
Okay, so the proposition of Hungary is to put more money in regional development and cohesion. So our proposition by numbers is to put 5 million in regional development and cohesion.
5 now, but didn't we agree on the 4 million proposal?
I don't know, but it was big. Hungary wants to give less money in investing people because when we discussed about single market, the argument of Denmark, it was, okay, you need also innovation, but if we want to benefit from innovation, we need at the beginning to develop our infrastructure, our building, and to have modernization thanks to Cohesion Fund and European Regional Development Fund. So just to be consistent.
Yes, and there is more money going to the regional development funds than going to the investing in people. We had two proposals on the table, and Spain asked publicly to raise hands in which of the two proposals the member states were happier. Meaning that if Spain accepted that his proposal was not good enough, and he or the member state accepted Austria's proposal. But we cannot, if we keep adding new proposals, this will never end. So, in your interest, more money out of the 7 billion is put in regional development funds than in investing people in social. So, at the end of the day, you are also, or you're supposed to be happy with the distribution of the fundings. Okay? Finland.
Okay, agree with the proposal now, but I want to emphasize that the councils accept last month to cut in 295 million euros the Erasmus Plus, and now we are saying to increase it. I mean, we accorded to reduce it because we have headings that are more important or parts that are more crucial, and we accept it, and now we are saying to increase it when we accept to decrease it. I mean, maybe if it remains all it is still, it can be okay. But if not, the proportional distribution, it can be okay too.
Spain, Sweden, and Italy, and then we will go to the other side.
Finland, I agree with you that for me there are more important headings than Erasmus, but Austria has shown goodwill in improving the budget, has shown goodwill in allocating. I think there is okay to allocate some to Erasmus as well. May I also offer stronger rule of law conditionality as something I remember that's been asked for in the past. And then maybe we can skew it a bit back towards a European Social Fund with Erasmus. We agreed now to 3 million, maybe we can say 2.2, 0.7, and then the justice was something Belgium wanted, 0.3 maybe, plus the stronger conditionality of rule of law. And I also think we're capable of reaching an agreement. I think across the board, there's more of an emphasis on the Regional Development Fund than the Cohesion Fund. And then we can offer Bulgaria some money for the Turkish community, right? I wanted to first, if we can move forward with this in this direction, or if there's strong opposition.
Well, you need to move forward because it's 6:15.
Is there strong opposition?
And we have two other headings to discuss, and we will be kicked out of this room at 7. And I also have a family. Sweden.
So I'll be concise. I just want to remind people that we are in union, and it's a negotiation, so the goal is to come to a compromise. No one will be 100% happy at the end of this day, so let's agree to some compromise. I haven't had my goal all the way. Nobody has his goal all the way, so it's just the goal is to compromise and negotiate. So we have to move forward, even if we're not 100% happy. Let's move forward.
I said Italy, and then we go to the other side.
We would like to remember Finland that we gave money to your space program, so you should let Austria have the Erasmus rights. And so basically everyone is agreeing in splitting 4-3 and then proportionally in each case. Is anyone against it? Bulgaria? Against it? Okay. If you could
It's like something 50-50. I mean, it's really quick. If we do proportional spend on the first heading, the support to the Turkish Cypriot community would be 193 million. I mean, you would only give 3 million to the Turkish Cypriot community. So thanks to Croatia that did the numbers. So I mean, 3 million, it's nothing. We believe that it should not be proportional because 3 million, it's absolutely nothing in a total of 7 billion. So maybe.
No. It would be less than 3. So essentially.
Millions. I'm talking about millions.
Millions. Well, yeah, 3 million.
But I mean, if you proportionally, it would go from 0.19 to 0.193.
No,
Yeah.
it would be to 21, 22.
No. At least 250 to
But-
make me happy.
We need to find some middle ground between this proposition that we personally believe as Italy is a little bit disproportionate, and maybe let's focus our shared interest in raising the migration heading.
Yeah, but you're all talking about billions. I'm talking about millions. It's nothing for you.
Yeah,
And
but
it would be so nice to me.
I mean, it's nothing for me, no. So I'm not like all the union, but if everyone agrees, maybe you just have to compromise.
This is not a dialogue, though, by the way. So, Belgium, please.
I would like to close this discussion. So, if it is possible, I would like to go acknowledging that we have, it was 4 and 3, right? So, going from each subheading, agreeing yes and no would be like, are we interested in increasing this one, yes or no? And then we close it like that, if it's possible.
No, it's not possible.
Okay.
Because
Then nothing.
this is not, we're not voting here. I mean, you need to understand that there are things that are important for somebody and things that are less important for other people. But essentially, you will get, the idea is that you live here satisfied, minimally satisfied. Okay, so yeah, we can, if we vote every time, it's easier for me to say, increase or no increase? Yes or no? Yes, vale. 5 million, sí, 3, no, venga, adeu. That would be very easy. But the idea of discussing is that some member states empathize, and then some other are sensitive to the other people's needs. Essentially, that's what it is, because voting, it's very easy for me.
Okay, so.
You have to,
Okay.
have agreed on everything by the majority voting all the time, which is, I don't know how fair it is for Spain that maybe big countries like Germany were agreeing with his proposal, and because the other people are more states but less people, and we are accepting that. But this cannot be the dynamic of this discussion. Voting cannot be the dynamic of this discussion. As simple as that. Denmark and then Spain.
I want to ask to the Commission if we can move to the final agreement by raising our hands and don't talk more about this heading, because we already have a proposal and I've seen a majority raising our hands, so there is no matter in going after each subheading. So please, Commission, can we raise our hand and reach an agreement on this heading and move to heading 3?
Spain.
I also ask to the other member states if we
I
can.
believe there is consensus even for in the subheadings. I would like to offer one. If there's no consensus, I agree that we should move on. May I offer the exact distribution?
Yeah.
Yes.
The proposal is the.
It's the 4-3, and now it's about how
exactly 4-3 and then proportional.
Yes.
Can we vote?
No, can I say?
There's no need to vote. Everybody agrees on that, or no?
Can we go?
For me, I think given everyone's interest and movement towards special interests, I would say out of the 4 for the regional and development cohesion, we put 2.5 to the ERDF, 1.3 to the cohesion fund, and 0.2, yes, to the Turkish community. Then for the other subheading, I would say a fair split would be 2.2 to the ESF plus, 0.4 or 5 to the Erasmus with strong conditionality across the board, and 0.2 for the justice, equality, rights, and values. Is there strong opposition to this proposal?
What did you mean by strong conditionality on the Erasmus heading?
No, I mean across the board, member states have asked for a rule of law conditionality on cohesion funds. I think that can be incorporated into this proposal. It was not meant for Erasmus specifically.
Yeah, but as much as I want to reach an agreement, the conditionality is very vague the way you are presenting it. If you ask me, sorry, I don't want to make it last.
I
for
understand.
ages.
Is there agreement without the conditionality? Can I get a raise of hands without the conditionality?
Agreement without the conditionality. So those who want conditionality are Austria, Belgium, Denmark, and a few others back there, Netherlands, right? What is the conditionality that you are suggesting? Because I hear the word conditionality, rule of law conditionality. Can we be specific on how much it conditions the resources, please? Belgium?
So the conditionality was already defined by the presidency of Charles Michel when he proposed the conditionality in the negotiation box. It basically means that the Commission can propose corrective measures to be approved by the Council by qualified majority voting in case the implementation of any of the EU funds seem to be compromised by breaches in the rule of law treaty of the Venice Commission that was agreed by the European Union. Secondly, the Court of Auditors can also call out such breaches. And lastly, the proposal of an increase of the funding of the rule of law values projects to be made through additional financing of the European Public Prosecutor's Office and the Justice, Rights and Values Program.
Thank you. Is everybody aware now of what rule of law conditionality means? See? Was everybody aware of what rule of law conditionality meant before Belgium read it? See? Vale. Now, who wants to introduce rule of law conditionality to this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Germany is there, France is there, so it's 10, so it's half of it, and 2 of the biggest countries are there. So if the conditionality is to be based on qualified majority voting, at this moment, the qualified majority voting says that the conditionality needs to be applied. Is that okay? So we have an increase of 7 billion, and we split 4 billion in the first heading, 3 billion in the third subheading. Is that correct? And then we apply the rule of law conditionality to all the cohesion funds, or only one of the 2 headings? All of them. To all of them, including investing and building social cohesion funds.
I would hope that also makes I see some overlap with the countries who want conditionality and to have the rebates. I hope there is you understand what some countries you are giving up, just mentioning.
Okay, making sure that some countries are making an effort accepting these conditionalities. That's what Spain's trying to say. So if we go back to the rebates again, keep that in your mind. Essentially, that's what it is. So the subheading, the heading, it's in 433.99, and the first subheading is 278.27, and the third subheading is 133.73 billion. Is that correct? And the rule of law conditionality applies to all the heading. Vale, okay, next. Wonderful. Yes, Sweden. What? Yes, I was going to say, let's go to the next heading. And just for you to know, out of the 21 million you've generated from your people's taxes, let me emphasize that, are only 9.5 left. Okay? Everybody agree on the distribution of this fund? And anybody wants to add some money onto this or no? Sweden, you were the first one to raise your hand, and Croatia the second one, Netherlands and Poland next. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Vale? Please, Sweden.
So for us, it's a very important heading, and we are aware that a lot of countries do not maybe share the same subheading as us. So with the money that we have raised with the 21 billion, the money that we raised in the beginning, I'm not good with number, I'm in social science. So what Sweden could propose is a 5 million, 5 billion increase in in the heading in general, but we are asking for 1.5 billion to go into climate action. The 3.5 will go into the agriculture and maritime policy, but environment and climate action, we would like to have a 1.5 billion in that subheading.
So basically...
Oh, and if I can add, no, I will keep that card.
Okay, now Croatia and then Netherlands and Poland.
On one hand, I fully agree with, I think we do need to raise in climate action. As I said before, I think that based on the previous proposal of Italy of 2.5 being too little for migration, I agree, but I also think that 7 billion is a good number for cultural, like agriculture. So here's where we use the card of the rebates. I do believe that the budget needs to be a bit higher. I do agree that climate action is needed. I think that all of the countries that are subject to rebates will agree that climate action is necessary. If possible, I would like to match the same contribution of before of 1 point. How much is it for the climate action? 1.5.
1.5.
Okay. If possible, those 1.5 come from the rebates, and then the rest of the subheading stays in agriculture and maritime policy. Essentially, the rebate money is invested in climate action, so it's essentially a long-term investment, something that all of the countries, but especially the countries that receive rebates, are interested in. And then we keep the rest of the headings as they exist currently. That would be a proposal.
5 billion to agriculture and maritime policy coming from the 21 that we raised, and then the 1.5 going to climate comes from the rebates of these
Yes.
of the countries. Okay, I understood. Netherlands and wait, you have to wait.
No, but correction on what the Commission has said.
What?
It's 5 billion it's 5 billion in general, and 1.5 to climate, and 3.5 to the maritime.
No.
Okay, with the
According to
Croatian.
what
Okay,
he
sorry.
says, no.
I thought we were still speaking about the initial.
Netherlands and Poland.
Thank you. Well, I do not agree with you, Croatia, mainly because I think that environment and climate action is very important. That's why I will go back on what Italy said in the previous heading, that I think that 7 billion should be included in this specific heading, and I would like to split it to 4 billion in agriculture and maritime policy, because I know that it's very important for most of the country, and I would like to put 3 billion in environment and climate action, and for agriculture and maritime policy, I would like maybe a raise in European maritime fisheries and aquaculture fund, because we will be very grateful if we had more funds in that to improve our fishing market. Thank you.
So we have a new proposal on the table. Instead of 5, we go 7. Or not, because if we go from 5 plus 1.5 from the rebates, it's actually 7. So it's increasing 7. The only difference is one, it's increasing strictly from the 21 million that we raised. The other way is raising 7 by 5 million from the money we raised, plus 2 coming from the rebates. 2 or 1.8, 2, because it makes it easy. That's the two proposals now on the table. Poland, do you want to propose something else?
I want to agree with Sweden because I think that 5 billion is enough for the natural resource and environment, because we don't have to forget about the migration that we have to deal later. And
You are very worried about migration.
yes. And it's a concern that is the last one, but I will accept the order. And about the natural resources, we want to invest the half of money in just transition fund in environment and climate action, because Poland doesn't dispose of all the infrastructures and technologies to allow a green transition. So if we receive the money that we have and we invest in the infrastructures that we have now, we will lose like money, because there are a lot of empty spaces that not will be filled up with that money. So firstly, we have to invest in these infrastructures and technologies, and then we will talk later about that. Then we have to consider that we have a lot of conditions to respect. We have the European goal of climate neutrality by 2015, European climate goals for 2013, and the Paris Agreement. So all these conditions are very dangerous for Poland, because if we don't respect this strategic investment in the future, we don't will have more funds. So we are very concerned about that.
We are really concerned on implementing the Green Deal, and that requires certain conditionalities to all the countries, because if we look to the other side, then we will never be able to reach the 55% of carbon dioxide reduction, etc., etc. So I see your point, I understand, but the thing is that these conditionalities have been there for a reason, because for a bigger picture, if you allow me to say. Ireland, there has been a long time since I hear you. What's wrong with the natural resources thing?
So, as we said in the beginning of our presentation, climate change and natural resources environment is more important heading for us. So we agree with Netherlands and with Italy that 7 billion is fine and it's necessary. And I'm sorry, but I think that 2.5 for immigration is enough. However, in Netherlands, we think that we need to redistribute in a different way. So we would use this 7 billion to 2.5 for a European Agriculture Guarantee Fund, 2 more for rural areas, 1 more for European Maritime, and 1.5 for environment and climate change. Thank you.
For the sake of the discussion, anybody wants to increase in a different number that is not 5 or 7? Okay, so we have either 5 or 7. What? You want any number different? You want to increase it in 3, in 2, in 1, or in 9, in 8? How much? You have another proposal? Please, quick.
We know that we have 9.5 billion left.
Yes.
So my proposal is to migration 6, and to natural resources and environment 3.5.
So now, on the table, ¿vale? And I don't accept any other proposal. 3.5 increase, 5 billion increase, 7 billion increase. These are the 3 proposals. Okay? Now, since the most radical one is Bulgaria's, how many people feel comfortable with this increase of 3.5? Bulgaria, I think you've been answered to...
Maybe if I say something.
Well, you can say as much as you want.
Bulgaria,
yes.
you just got your Turkish. I think maybe this is also... I think you have just received something in the last budget negotiation. I don't know if this is a position to call for a unilateral decrease.
Romania?
Romania suffers a lot from migration, but we still think that like changing this much, like moving this much of funds from agriculture to migration is undoable.
But I mean, investing in migration border security is way cheaper than then expanding on the migration itself. Just a reminder.
I don't agree.
Yes. Italy?
If we can agree in 7 billion allocation that is emphasized by the frugal ones that are the ones that receive the rebates, can we have some confirmation that some part of the rebates will then be included in the migration heading? So that would be a good incentive for example, for Bulgaria to accept this proposition if there is some kind of money then allocated in the other heading.
I think the frugal should be ones responding, or those who are receiving rebates should be the ones responding. Do you guys need time or no for the proposal of Italy? Yes, Sweden, you are one of those.
Well, I think Croatia did a proposition regarding our rebates, and as a representative of the Frugal Four and as Sweden, I would prefer allocating my rebates towards the Croatian proposition and keeping more money that we have on the 21 billion to migration. So it's just a concern of personal preference in the headings. But at the end of the day, same money.
Netherlands, you are also receiving money. What's your problem with this proposal?
I would not be fine with touching about the rebates, but if we are all agreeing on that, I will ask to put conditionality for this specific amount of money to be sure that, well, it's not waste and not used to be to be used in a field project.
What sort of conditionality?
Well, I would like, for example, climate.
So green conditionality?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Austria, you are also a country that receives rebates?
Yeah, I agree with Sweden. If I have to put more money, like rebates, I prefer to put it in natural resources and environment, and also with conditionality, I refer if you want to receive the money, you, for example, need a plan for green energy and reducing emissions, for example.
Okay. Denmark, you also receive rebates?
Yeah, so just to let everybody know, for the sake of the community, me too, as Denmark, is keen to implement this budget with rebates. So given that if we talk about 2 billions from the rebates, it's not even 4%. And I think that we also are, we want to emphasize the environment and climate action. So those 2 billions will go totally to the environmental and climate action. And the other 5 from the 21 are going to agriculture and maritime policy. And I think that we can agree on that. I don't know, Germany, if you want about rebates, but I mean...
Yes, Germany?
We agree with what's being proposed now. I think that if we apply those conditionalities, we can present of our rebate.
Netherlands, the last word on this.
No, just to be sure. So 2 billion would be our rebates that go to environment and climate action, and 5 billion to agriculture.
Yes.
Then the remaining 2 can be spent in migration.
4.5.
So it will be, I think, a solution that can satisfy everyone's perspectives right now.
And you apply green conditionality to all. Besides putting 2 billion into the environmental and climate action as Denmark has proposed, the green conditionality that Belgium has, that Austria has proposed and you have proposed still applies to all the funds. Is that correct?
Okay.
Is everybody happy? Spain is not very happy.
You know that Spain is, of course, very affected by climate change, so will not be a country that stands in the way of climate. But I think agriculture is a hard place to put this conditionality. So if at least my cattle farmers will have tough times adjusting to green conditionality. So if we could at least exclude the European Agriculture Guarantee Fund from the stringent green conditionality, I would like to emphasize that I've shown goodwill in past headings. I would be very grateful.
Makes sense, because at the end of the day, the guarantee fund, not that I want to support Spain personally, but it makes sense because this money is to support, is to subsidize. At the end of the day, it's not as the rural development fund, which you need to improve your farming, improve your harvesting, etc., etc. So it makes a little bit of sense, if you ask me, to exclude the European Agriculture Guarantee Fund of the green conditionality. Netherlands?
I would like to propose that, okay, maybe we do not put the conditionality on European Agricultural Guarantee Fund, but I would like more fund into environment and climate action, if so?
Are we in the well, maybe if it comes from your rebates, you can put as much as you want.
No, I would like.
I shouldn't be the
like
one
funds.
saying this, you guys, but
I'm not totally agreeing with only 2 billion for environment and
2
climate
extra billion.
action. Yeah, 2 extra billion. Like,
No, but okay, with all due respect, Netherlands. But agriculture and maritime policy, it's 95% of the budget of this heading, right? You are adding extra 7 billion. 2 billion out of 7 is more than 5%. It's actually 30%. So you are increasing this budget by 30%, almost. So I think you can actually work for climate action via rural development. If you make your farms, especially you, with all the cows farting in your country, if you work on your farms, you can actually have an impact on climate and environment, I say. Yes, Denmark.
I want just to say one thing to Netherlands, because even Denmark is the greenest, the greener country in Europe. So we really want to increase the environment and climate action, but we understand all the other position of the members that need to develop their agriculture, and that's why I'm keen to stay with 2 billions and not increase it, because I mean,
in a way, I'm trying to clarify the idea of the Commission with this budget and these headings. It's very hard to make the LIFE program work if farms in most of the countries in Europe are not properly prepared for it. So there's a reason why we put more money on the first heading than in the second heading, because we need to kind of balance everybody out in order to make this program more efficient. But that's the way it is thought here. Okay? Spain and Lithuania, very quickly.
Okay, quickly. Yeah, not to, again, confront Netherlands, but I think we have moved on the rebates, we have moved on the conditionality, we have moved on the allocation. I think it's time for the rebate receiving countries to move as well. So is there now agreement with the proposition put forward that with the split we agreed on, with the rebate we agreed on, and that the European Agricultural Guarantee Fund is excluded from green conditionality? Is there agreement? No.
Sweden, very quickly.
Yeah, I just want a clarification on we are still going with the Croatian proposition. I just want clarification. It's the 5 million that I proposed at the beginning, and then 2 million more with the rebates inside.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. So
Yes, also, like we will think that it's two subheadings that actually affect one another, so it doesn't matter that much if like 1 billion here, 1 billion there, because at the end of the day, environment affects agriculture and agriculture affects environment, so it both feedback each other.
Yes? Oh. So now I do the summarize, okay? Now, heading 3 is 408 billion now. And we split it this way. 5 billion, 390.77 go to agriculture and maritime policy, distributed proportionally on the subheadings. And the environmental and climate action becomes 16 billion 48. Is that correct? The money, so at the end of the day, we have increased the budget with another 2 billion coming from the rebate. So the actual budget is 1.233 billion, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, the number? Yes, I think it is correct. Yes. So, and then we have green conditionality on the heading 3, in all subheadings except for the guarantee fund. Is that correct? Now, finally, we move to the Migration and Border Management Fund. And you have 10 minutes to reach an agreement. There's not much money that you can do or not do. So basically, it's how do you distribute the extra 4.5 in this? Yes, Croatia.
4.5 is good, right? Okay, good. No, just in case if someone wants to throw out a reallocation of like, okay, 4.5 is good. I mean, honestly speaking, border management fund, when it comes to border management, I think that's going to be an issue. So proposal, 2.5 on the first heading for integration, asylum, etc. 2 for border management fund, so we can manage our borders a bit better. That's it, especially considering that Romania and Bulgaria are joining Schengen. That's it.
Lithuania, France, and Denmark. There's the 3 hands that I see.
Yeah, Lithuania wanted to say that, well, with the Baltic and northern countries, we're really scared of the Russian conflict, even though like these recent days have been escalating. So I believe that with Croatia's proposal to do like a switch around, so 2 billion to migration and 2.5 billion to border management. In the end of the day, if you spend more into border management, you don't have to spend that much into migration. So my proposal is 2.5 border management and 2 migration, which is, yeah, Lithuania's proposal.
We completely agree with the Lithuanian representative, as investing in borders management not only affects migration, but also affects human trafficking, drug trafficking, and other problems that go around. Especially in the Mediterranean, there have been reports that point towards an increase in human trafficking there. And so we think that investing 2.5 on the border and 2 on the asylum would be a better distribution of resources.
Yeah, for us it's almost the same, but we want to touch a bit the budget, because for us it's more important the border management. So instead of 2.5 and 2 to migration, I would propose 3.5 to border management and 1 billion to migration. Because given what also Lithuania said, by upgrading border management, then we need less money for the migration. And also given that in some countries, some European countries, there are programs, there are national programs just to integrate the migrants. So I think that 1 billion is enough for migration, and 3.5 for border management. We can secure all the borders of Europe better.
Jesus.
So I'm happy to what Denmark said.
So 3.5 to border management and 1...
I was thinking more about 4 and 0.5. But I mean...
We're talking about 0.5.
I mean, I have to ask for what I want. Then we negotiate.
Okay.
But I mean, you have to know that 30% of irregular entries in the EU is between Turkey and Bulgaria. So keep that in mind. But I would be happy with 3.5 and 1. It would be nice.
Poland, and then Italy, and Spain, and Romania.
I agree with Greece because with the explosion of the war in Ukraine, I agree about the importance.
Greece, no, Bulgaria. You said Greece? Bulgaria, you mean?
No, Croatia.
Sorry. Did you say Greece?
Sorry. I agree with Croatia because we want to invest more in the migration and a little bit less in the border management, because with the explosion of the phenomenon of the war in Ukraine, we are not so glad to host all the immigrants in our country, but we can't left out all the people that need help. And we need more money in the migration because we need to invest in the medical assistance, social welfare, and children's education. Moreover, we have the responsibility to share the aim to help the migrants among member states. So I hope that this money that I ask for the migration will be a compromise because we don't want to be left alone, and we need to be more efficient and think about the emergency that we are living, and maybe after will we manage the borders that are a constant problem. But I think that urgency goes before. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Poland. Also, I'd like to respond to Denmark. Even as a EU border country, some countries have interest in integrating their migrants, so I think even if I see a slight skew towards border management, I think a 2.5 split is reasonable. I'd like to also emphasize, in the grand scheme of things, we're talking about peanuts in the budget here, so I think a 2.5 split is more than reasonable.
We would be more agreeing with splitting in 1.5 in migration and 3 in border management, because less arrivals are less of a problem, and now in Italy we have a great problem with reallocating and the arrival of migrants. But we would be more than favorable to accepting the Croatia proposal if everyone is in majority in this case.
With all due respect to the member states, at this stage of the negotiation, we are moving 0.5 billion up and down, and somehow the Commission thinks that there's no much need on this. So let's try to build something in where we can, I understand that not everybody is happy, but can we find a way of reaching an agreement for your own safety also, because it's 8 to 7. Hungary, is this for Romania? You were first. Sorry, Romania was first.
Okay. So I think that the compromise between us would be to put 2.5 in border management and 2 in integration and in migration in general. No, it's the Lithuanians' proposal, because the initial proposal was the country. In this way, I think we will all benefit from migration. We will secure our borders, but at the same time integrate the migrants, because they're gonna come anyways. And so at least we integrate them and we make them a valuable asset for our communities and in general for our economy. 1 billion, I think it's not enough.
I just wanted to say that I agree with the 2 and 2.5 billion. To this end, the common management of external borders needs to be strengthened up, policy cooperation needs to be further developed, and migration and asylum system needs to be made more efficient to cope better with migratory pressures. Temporary protection has been an effective solution for helping over 4 million Ukrainian war refugees in Europe. We consider it important to remain that one of the EU crisis management tools. We consider it necessary to establish the EU funding mechanism both to support the return of war refugees and to support member states with the largest reception burden in implementing long-term integration activities for war refugees. So basically, I think we need to separate the budget more fairly, and also remind the border management has also more investment than the migration. So I think it's going to be fairly to add 2 billion to migration, because we also need to management, and we can also adequate to our budget things like temporary protection as part of the EU's crisis management tools. So I think it's going to be important to add that.
Just tonight, I mean, it's funny to see that all the countries that want more money to migration and border management, they have so far away their borders. So I mean, if we invest more in border management and immigration, it would be like an example for the future, and we will save more money. So for me, the idea was 3 billions to border and 1.5 to migration, but I would be happy if we do like 2.5 to border and 2 to migration.
Anything else? The 4.5 extra billion increased are distributed in the following ways. So we increase the migration heading. Don't leave, because everybody wants to leave. Okay? So I have been listening to you for 4 hours. So the least you can do is respect the final conclusion of all this, because it's your exam, not my exam. Okay? Clear? Vale. If not, next time, go faster to reach agreements. Now, we increase the migration and border management with 4.5, so it ends up being 30.2 billion. Is that correct? And then we have 2 billion into the migration, so it becomes 13.10. 25.7 plus 4.5 is 30.2. Yes? The only thing is that the numbers, now you have 13 billion, 13.1 going to migration, and then it's 16.87 going to border management. See? Now, in order to summarize, you have increased your budget by 23 billion. Is that correct? So it becomes 1,333.9 or 32.9, 33 billion. See? Is that correct? Now, you've decided to put in the single market and innovation 154 billion. See, split in the following way: 96.32 going to research and innovation, 33.98 going to European strategic investments, 7.1 going to single market, and 15.6 going to space. Is that correct? See? Now, heading 2, we talk about cohesion and resilience funds and values, right? We increased this budget by 7, if I'm not mistaken, and 433.99 billion, correct? And we distribute 278 billion, 0.27 going to regional development funds, and 133 going to investing in people, social and cohesion value. And we add, or we keep, a rule of law conditionality on these funds. Yes. Well, it goes split, it goes proportionate. See or no?
No, it is true. No, it is true that Spain said 0.2 increase to.
To make it 0.2.
Like the first heading is not equally distributed. I don't know exactly what were the numbers, but I know that the Cyprus community got a 0.2 increase, not a 0.02 increase. Or 0.3.
200 millions?
The Spain representative said 0.2 increase to the Cypriot community. So at the end, it's 0.39. Yeah. We agreed on proportionate, but changing a little bit the first heading in order to give to the Cyprus community a little bit more. I mean,
you see, you cannot leave.
He proposed it, and he listed all the different headings at the same time. And then we said, yes, we agree, and we moved on. But since he said them all at once, we agreed on. No, because we agreed on the Spain proposal. I know, but we moved on from the heading because after we voted the Spain's proposal, not because the Commission said anything. But anyway, it's just a movement of 1.7, 0.17. Yes, from 4 billion. We keep them the same, just we take 0.07 from each one. It's a slight reallocation. Yeah. It's a very slight increase.
Well, but we are doubling the amount of money going to the Turco-Cypriotic community.
Yes, but still very little money in comparison to. That's.
I think that
That's what we increased.
Can we double space program?
No, but that's what we agreed on, because I want to remind that afterwards, when we were talking about natural resources, somebody over there said, Bulgaria, you should concede, since we already conceded you on the Cyprus thing. So it's something that was agreed upon. It's 0.2, not 0.03.
Wait a second.
I don't think that that's...
Wait. So let's raise our hands if we understood what Denmark is saying, like what Denmark is saying and Croatia also, I believe. No. Like what you said of the Turkish Cypriots.
I'm really sorry, but for everyone's well-being, because I don't want to fail this class, can we move forward?
Yeah, just
it's zero.
It's we gave
2,000 millions. It doesn't. No, but we agree with that. I remember that.
So you will have to split the 3.7, 3.9, 3.8, sorry, and the other two. Is that correct? So it is 0.39 to the Turco-Cypriota community. Okay. Next, heading 3. We increase it to 408, right? And 5 million go to the agriculture and maritime policy, 390.77, is that correct? And the 2 million for the environment and climate action, 16.48. We agreed on introducing or maintaining green conditionality to all the subheadings except for the guarantee fund. Is that correct? Okay. That makes food cheaper also, so it's a good decision. Not for us, but for some countries. Migration and border management, which is heading 4, we agreed on increasing 4.5, okay? And those 4.5 makes a 30.2 billion heading, and migration becomes 13.1 billion, and border management becomes 16.87 billion. Is that correct? Okay, now, yes, you can leave. I see you on the 28th at 3:30. It will be very quick. We will discuss some of the behaviors and some of the long-lasting discussions with this group. Wait. Don't leave, because we need to take a picture. Exactly.